Traffic through the crucial trade route appeared to pick up slightly, though shipping groups warned that plans for the resumption of traffic were still not clear. And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembur.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu. Broadcasting worldwide, Spice FM. Online, mobile, and on radio. Facebook at SpiceFM KE.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Every time he kept on saying he wants a vibrant opposition.
How does it make sense that public money has been used already and then they dare to sell it back to you? Why are they not giving them for free?
That's how broken we are. That's how broken we are.
They are being sent home now for fees. They're going to fail to prepare. We are compromising the futures of these children.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Parliament has got powers. Let me break it down. The National Assembly can initiate an impeachment of the president.
This same National Assembly.
Yes. That's our constitution.
Because this is just a continuation of the previous administration, which Ruto was part of. President Uhuru himself openly said that we're losing 2 billion daily. Daily. I mean, come on. Are you saying that we don't have a central bank?
If we look at Kenya, both public-private sector, that figure is ranging between 30 to 40%, right?
I think it's clear that the government of Kenya is living beyond its means.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Baba should disown these experts and say they went there on the, because he keep on telling us that these experts you came from Dubai and you found them there already at State House looking for jobs.
Government has to has to introduce austerity measures. It's something that this government and the previous ones have not been able to do in this country. We've talked about it so many times.
And really, I think you have seen the modus operandi of William Samoei Ruto since he came in. It's just showbiz.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Members of parliament, they go to State House, they just promised they get given tea, mandazi, and 100,000. That's not development.
External borrowing, 589 billion. Are we on the same page? What did Parliament pass?
If anything happens to our president today, God forbid, that man would become president. Na ndio alilenga hizo stories za Shakahola.
The real thing is our constitution has only one person who is accountable to us.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
I am also a publicly elected official. Okay. My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
we will always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Okay, I wanted to see if people are awake.
Good morning.
Yeah, if he was looking at me wondering, talk.
What is going on?
What's going on?
How are you?
Good morning, I'm fine, thank you, please. How are you this morning?
Sarab sana.
Just,
Salam sana.
Okay. Sky, my English is disappearing.
Okay.
Before you knew it, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
And you know what?
It's the 19th.
It's the 19th. Juneteenth. What? Juneteenth is today. Do you know what Juneteenth is about? We'll tell you in a minute. Because, before we have to do anything else, we have to say welcome to Kamanya, who has blown in like the wind. Kamanya, good morning.
Niko salam.
You're even singing.
Good morning.
Salam.
Niko mzuri.
Niko Mombasa Road
Happy
Standard.
to be here.
Okay, today we have sour. It's Friday. It's Juneteenth. I give without Google. Okay, can't confirm. If you know what Juneteenth is about to tell me. Do you know what Juneteenth is about? Okay, it's coming. Somebody will tell us, I'm sure in the comments in just a minute, what the whole phenomenon or what the whole issue around Juneteenth, essentially June the 19th, is about. A very good morning to you. You've been missed. Karibu sana. Good to have you in the room as we look into some of these things.
Good to be here. I've missed you too. Yes, lots.
People who miss others, what they normally do is that they'll pick the phone. Speaking of which, EVE, when the phone is ringing, unachukua simu unasema, hello. Then you see what's happening. Then, unless it's a stalker. Stalkers, we don't talk to them. But see, like now, people like me, they call you. See, now you just answer the phone and make me feel nice. I can't hear what you're saying, but I'm just telling you.
My father would tell you, mobile phone is not bunde. Bunde is a gun.
It's not a gun.
You only remove it. Yeah, mobile phone is not bunde. You only remove it when you want to. You need to as well just pick it up. Maskia, mobile phone is not bunde.
I just wanted to hear how you are doing. Don't be worried. No comprende English. Okay, sawa basi. Very good morning to you. Evelyn is fine. Mutanu has come singing her way into the morning. Joy B's here as well. Everybody, good morning. And we're getting into the last situation room for this week, and even with that we'll have a couple of conversations. Dennis told Aseto, Josphat, Kamanya, Nduh with you in the situation room this morning. Thank you for being here on this Friday. There are 10 days after tomorrow left in the month of June, and we're 6 days away from the commemoration of the Gen Z protests. It's one to be remembered while other conversations are taking place. But I found it interesting that through the day yesterday, we saw different politicians seem to now be putting, what did you put in? A fertilizer now in the soil to bring out some kind of root germination towards their political aspirations. That people don't just stand up from where they are and say, let me go to hospital and pay the bills for 24 women, or let me go to another part of the country or another part of my constituency and tell people that foreigners must go. It is not just random. It is political aspiration now that is manifesting in activity. So,
let me tell you something.
Beware of wolves selling what?
Honey.
Something. Can't remember.
Let me tell you. You see these individuals who are now coming out with all these political statements. For 5 years, Kenyans have been on dilapidated roads and junk pretty much on the streets while you were a member of parliament. I remember when Gen Zs went to the streets, some of these members of parliament were seen flying around in choppers and driving in very expensive vehicles, showing us that, y'all might as well go to the streets. We will fly high. Today they're coming in. Are you sick? I can pay your bill. Shut up.
Oh, wow. It had to come. It looks like it's that Friday.
But
we already reached.
It's a season.
It is.
It is a season. The market is open.
It is.
The auction is on.
Yeah.
How much are you going to auction your vote?
Thank you.
Your liberties, your freedoms, your future. You'll be well entertained to treaties, and treated very well. True. Freebies will be flying.
Freebies.
So, it is the season. But it's upon us to decipher. Listen to what they're doing and what they're not saying.
Yep.
Hear them for what they are. And then, 56 weeks. We have a decision.
We have a decision to make.
Yes.
And just in case you were wondering, at about 9:30 last night, the finance bill was passed. And folks were saying, hey, God, that the rest of whatever was done through the whole day was cosmetic. We had Robertson Bui here in the morning, and he said, they're going to rush this thing. And we're likely to not see any of the recommendations or edits that we'd like to have seen come through. So yes, the finance bill was passed yesterday by Parliament. What does that mean? Is that it's gone through the readings very quickly, and that maybe a few of the edit adoptions have been made, but by and large, as it was, is how it is, and that will become a finance act passed again by Parliament, and it will kick in towards the new financial year, which begins on the 1st of July. That information ought to say something to you.
Yes.
But we'll, of course, be discussing a lot of these things as we get into conversations through this Friday morning. Thank you for being here. Our live streams are up on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X. Very good morning to you. Tell us where you're tuned in from, where you get the opportunity. And let's get into these conversations together. Let me let you know what we'll be talking about today. As we come towards the end, but at the end of the week. At 7 o'clock, we will have a conversation with Kamanya, who is the Wiper NEC member, and Jimmy Gikwa is a youth and governance analyst. We'll be looking at the week in review, bills, deals, and demands. And of course, this will come into play, the finance bill, linked directly to 2024 and the upcoming commemoration of those protests in June 2 years ago. So we're going to wrap up the week and we'll look at what it meant or how it's being taken by a lot of folks. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll talk with Professor Gitile Naituli, who is a fellow of the Kenya National Academy of Science. Adulting, all right, I beg your pardon. Yeah, adulting is the next one. But auditing counties' missing funds. Where is the money? Now, the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate has been meeting, and different governors, people have been clashing. Can I ask? Can I not ask? Can you do what? Can you tell us why you are spending 500,000 shillings on a pit latrine? Even if it comes double, it shouldn't be too. So where does this money actually, when you say the money is missing, you come and tell us it's missing, and then what? We'll talk about that at 8 o'clock. And then finally, Derek Banga, you might know him. He's an emotional intelligence coach. Did you know that people are like that? They are. Men don't cry. It's a syndrome. Men's mental well-being, as we celebrate Men's Mental Health Month. Are you talking? If you're not, you should be. It's necessary for us to talk about. It's been in the shadows for the longest time. Let's bring it out into the fore. And if you want to get uncomfortable this morning, let's do it so that we can at the very least, go into the weekend. Father's Day is to be celebrated soon. To then ask,
soon is Sunday.
Yes.
Just to mention, soon is Sunday.
Father's Day is on Sunday. Sawa.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Right? So some of these things come into play, and we're asking ourselves certain questions about, come on, guys, let's make the world a comfortable space where men can actually talk. So this syndrome of men don't cry, it needs to be healed. Ama? All right, so those are conversations that we have today. Thank you for being here, and very good morning to everybody who tunes in. Ask Kamanya what the people of Guinea-Bissau are called.
Kamanya, people of Guinea-Bissau are called?
The Guinea?
So people of Kenya are called?
The Kenyans.
Uganda?
You had to think about that?
Ugandans.
Tanzanians?
Guinea-Bissau? Guinea-Bissanians.
It's good. I like that one. I like it.
Guineans?
Guinea-Bissanians.
Oh, my day has been made. Wonderful things.
So we were rhyming it.
So we said Guinea-Bissauans, then we were corrected that they are Guineans of Bissau.
Guineans of Bissau. Okay.
Yes. But even that one works.
I like that.
Okay. Right? I love that one.
Right.
Now, one thing that stands out to them, first of all, it's an archipelago, over 80 islands, right? That makes it what it is.
Yes.
In Kenya, all our hippos are freshwater. So when you go there, there's a salty. They just love salt for some reason.
Oh.
Yeah, the hippos. And that is part of their tourist attractions in the country. But let's go to the proverb. The baobab does not grow in a day. the baobab does not grow in a day. How would you interpret it?
Wow. Time and process refine things. Because you see, the baobab is such a magnificent plant, just by appearance and size. But it takes time. It endures different weathers for it to become. So becoming is a process. Respect, allow yourself to grow. So yeah, it's about the process.
Baby girl, how would you interpret it?
So I once tried to hug a baobab tree. It's really, really...
How was the experience?
It's a really, really big tree.
It is.
Yeah, I think I have a picture. I should find that picture. And I just imagined at that point trying to hug the tree, and I thought, how long did it take for us to get to this circumference? It's a magnificent tree if we're actually really close to it. And to think that the fruits that fall from it are tiny little things, but that then I thought to myself, all the things that we're able to get from this tree, at some point, maybe not so much, you're getting some shade, but the vastness of the tree, and then you're getting this fruit from it that is also actually quite healthy and does great things for your body if you take it in. And I said, all of these things come from this tree. But then as I think about that proverb, but I realized it started from a shoot. It started from a seedling. But imagine the process through which it grows and grows, and then it's able to offer so many things. But it didn't do it immediately. It took time.
Find things in life
take
time.
Yes.
How long does it take one to dig earth, come up with what one called what do you call those things? Gold nuggets,
yes.
Right?
Yes,
then you finally clean it up, smelt it for you to have a bar that then is valuable.
Yeah.
You want to get diamond? How deep do you have to go? By the time you're coming to process it and put it on that tree.
Yeah.
It's a process.
It is. Trust the process, folks.
Trust the process.
Don't hate the process either, I guess.
Just put in the work.
Exactly.
Because even baobab tree puts in the work to make sure it grows.
Oh yeah, it withstands a lot.
Yep, it does. Basi wacha tusalimie watu. As we're getting into things this morning, tell us where you're tuned in from this morning. And I know that some of you are getting to bed, or rather trying to wake up this morning. So thank you for then at least checking in as you do. Bernard Ogamba says, good morning, watu wangu. So iko noma. So ni so ama ni so.
So iko shida.
Okay. Schools have taken the advantage of strikes, now burdening what? Now burdening parents with unnecessary levies and school fees completion, as if parents are the ones who went on strike. I don't know. It's a catch-22, man. What are you gonna do? And we could go down the rabbit hole with this one because so where did the unrest stem from? You know, yikes! It's one of those situations where you must approach with caution, because who then is to
foot the budget? But also, you also keep giving development funds every year. Is there a contingency?
No. You don't even give the funds. Capitation is at 22,000. Let's talk about that. You withhold 5,000 at the ministry.
Right in the rabbit hole now.
You see, this is a problem. I didn't want to go there. We're already going there. You send 17,000. And that 5,000, you tell people that the reason why we're holding this 5,000 is for development.
Yes.
See,
and then when you have an arson case, that's a disaster in a county. And if these facilities are devolved and domiciled in the county, the disaster management fund could cater for that.
See, step away from the rabbit hole, because now, just leave. Look the other way. Yes, it's Friday, says Samuel McLeod. Morning to you. Zach OK is here. Good morning, Spice family. Twin Cities tuned from Minnesota State, the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Yes. Information received is the world respects us. So the frequent travels. So the frequent travels make sense. Nisawa too. Nice weekend, fam. Stanley Gasha says greetings from Juja Farm, aka Mount Kilimanjaro. Given the current trend in both social, political discussions, Kenneth Marende remains to be the only neutral speaker for our parliament. I actually agree.
Yeah.
I've just studied it and looked at the names of all of the speakers in the last, dispensations, and he seems to be the one that has held a neutral position.
The guy with Solomonic wisdom.
But isn't that unfortunate?
It is.
Yeah,
It is a place for us to find ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we know things can be done better and
You have to
differently.
look back and see that we once had a good thing going, but here we are, empty, political rhetoric.
Down the double door pit latrine. Sorry. Kiari Peter says, good morning from Mombasa. Healing is realizing that the things that once broke you no longer have the power to control your peace.
Thank you. Amen.
Put it on a t-shirt, man. Kimiak, good morning. The likes of Kikuyu MP should be busy campaigning for second-term votes for their one-term president, but they are busy passing punitive KRA laws. And nothing good will come out of the Kenya Kwanzaa regime. Yeah. I have to give it to him though, because I go to Kikuyu quite often.
Yeah.
And I won't lie. If he's using CDF funds, the man seems to have, legislated for such things to be applied. I won't lie there. That one I've seen with my own eyes. I can see the way Joe is looking at me. But no.
Yeah, I'm with Kimi.
You're with Kimi.
You're with Kimiak. Kimiak is every day and says no. Apana. Apana. Meanwhile, if Shah is working, why would the member of parliament, a woman rep, have to go to the hospital to pay the bills of these women who are registered Shah members? I'm just asking. I couldn't stay away. I just had to ask. But I'm moving on swiftly. I just had to get it out. I had to scratch it. I've scratched tire.
What did Kimi say?
Kimi said nothing could come out of the Kenyan regime. Clement Ochola says, good morning from Malindi, Kwachocha. So only 145 out of 349 MPs were present yesterday on the National Assembly, in the National Assembly. Yeah, and they represent us. Tunavumilia kwa Kenya. Yeah, so you have 349 members of parliament. Less than half showed up to vote. Let me say it like this. Less than half showed up to represent you. Which is what you asked them to go and do. Just take that into consideration.
You know what time we saw almost all members of parliament present? During the impeachment.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. But
there's everything wrong with not showing up to vote on a tax bill. No.
They should be right through and through.
Yeah.
They're members of they are representatives.
Yes.
So show up. Do your work.
Yep.
There was nothing wrong with them showing up for the impeachment.
Yes.
From where I stand. But they also should have shown up.
There's everything wrong with them not showing up yesterday.
Correct. Yes.
Yep, you're right, and that's a good point, Clement.
You don't pick and choose when to represent me.
Yeah, exactly.
When I pay you consistently. I don't think we have any salary arrears.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
You would have been hearing it by now. Somebody would have been saying, no, sitting black. No, they've been paid.
Supplementary would not pass.
So our employees did not show up for work.
Yeah, your folks, the people you hired did not show up for work yesterday. You lost business yesterday, folks. What would you do? Desmond T says, good morning. Wesutsa says, good morning, my favorite people. Durban is in Kabisa. Izakali says, TGIF indeed. A week in Kenyan politics moves faster than common sense. Could we have a Friday timeout? Let's discuss weather, football, or the migration pattern of geese.
Yeah.
The nation could use the rest. I agree. Hapo kwanza tena kwa migration pattern of geese.
Yeah.
It's a very, very interesting process. But again, there's a rabbit hole and we're not going down it either. But I hear what you're saying. Sometimes you need a minute to declutter and deconstruct. Robert Mbogotuni from Mombasa this morning. Hello, Princess Nduh, Aseto. Say hi to Joe. Conversations heard here about Bunge become true every day. Yes, they do. The things that we say here, the things that we have conversations about, Nduh, it's never about the people. It's always about protecting the master's wish. Nyakundi Emmanuel says, good morning, Princess. Prince. Yeah, they've called me now Prince. Guys.
Let me add the S. Princess.
Thank you.
Yes.
I can prove that I am not a prince. 162 MPs in the House yesterday. It tells a lot. It tells a whole lot. Drift Session says, good morning, Spices. Welcome back, Joe.
Yeah, bro.
Anyway, the finance bill passed, blah, blah, blah. Budget read, airport, who knows?
It shall fall.
Best week in a minute with all AAA guests. Happy weekend. Asante sana. Karibu, karibu. Faith Sander says, good morning, Nduh, Mr. Shut Up and Kamanya. Guys.
Faith, good morning.
Good morning. To you too.
Kamanya tumekumiss hivi anasema.
Nimemisika nimerudi.
Nimemisika.
Nimemisiwa nikamisika.
Sawa. I'm going to bite my tongue. Leo says, as Mbai said, was it Mbui? I think it was Mbui you were talking about.
Yes, it's Mbui.
Bread-based roll is shouting down against their master, and yesterday that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. John Mureithi says, good morning, people. Ngoigwa Thika tuned in. It's a place like that. Ngoigwa. Very, very good morning to you. And Nation Gugi says, good morning, Nduh, Dennis and Joe. Happy Friday. Happy Juneteenth. Exactly. I told you guys to tell me what Juneteenth is. Ready for my 3-day weekend. Have a wonderful and restful weekend. As always, we appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Love from Arizona. Daniel Churro says, good morning, Nduh. Aseto, if we truly understand the colossal amounts of money and resources being stolen daily by people in both tiers of government and other well-connected crooks, Kenya would what? Kenyans would all go mad with anger. Linda Gola says, bonjour à tous, bonjour à toi. Bonjour. Joe is here.
Yes, I
with
am.
the whistles and the party hats. Antonina Kehika says, hallelujah, JK is here. Good morning to JK and JK only today. Come and be going on, Jerry.
Good morning to you too.
Antonina, we see you. Don't throw away the pot because a new one has come to the
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Dennis.
Hey, now we can greet each other.
Antonina, good
Hello.
morning. Hi.
Henry Accepted says, good morning, SpiceFM. Leo ni Friday. Hii Kenya time sukuma sana. Kabisa. Eric Award says, good morning. Salimia Joe. Joe, misalimiwa.
Misalimika.
Good morning, Spice family. It's a pity that the government has plugged its ears to the cry of the people 13 months to go, says Jimmy Munuthi. Wakamwa says, good morning. Aseto Nduh. At some point, I watch Kenyan news and wonder, kwani ule mchawi alituroga alikufa? Because situation ni mwecheche. Watching from Dublin in Ireland.
What did you say, mweche?
Mwecheche.
Say mwecheche.
Mwecheche.
Hey.
Sasa mimi mwecheche, I don't know the thing.
Don't colonialize mwecheche.
What's mwecheche? Is it a vegetable?
What?
Is it a vegetable?
No.
It sounds like mchicha.
Mchicha. No, the situation is
mwecheche.
Mwecheche.
Yes. Things that go crazy now.
Okay. I've tried, Abby. I didn't know now. Bernard Yaveri says, good morning, my people. We love you guys. We love you too. Dr. Venvik says, good morning, tuned in from Pride in Paradise, getting you loud and clear. Kabisa. Raskodor says, good morning, Team Spice, listening to the best of the best. Hello, Kabisa. Sarah Kilonzi says, good morning, Spice. And Carbarnet is where Dominic Rotich is tuned in from. Happy Friday to the Princess, Sir Shut Up, and the Duke of Scarf and the squad.
Hey.
Duke of Scarf. Meona hiyo.
Duke of Scarf.
Aseto, ambia Joe avai sweater ama anataka kutuonyesha nini?
Kutuonyesha nini?
Munaonyeshana.
Unaona nini? Anaona nini?
Calvin Zabondi says, good morning. Calvin's watching from Kisumu. You guys are doing great. Salimia Joe. Joe. Misalimiwa tena.
Salimika.
Omena says, good morning from Embu County. And Ryan Tula Omar says, good morning, Joe. Nduh, bring Joe more often. Nduh, I would like to be part of one of your barazas. Excuse me, Madam Producer, sir. Madam. She's looking at me with one eye. Rahim Tula, please, you can invite Rahim Tula to one of our barazas.
Yeah.
Please, don't be angry.
Slide in our DMs, Rahim Tula, so we can have private chat and invite you over.
Kabisa.
Yep.
Wagwan Spice, revolutionary journalism family, keep the fire blazing. Ubuntu na pamoja, says Kimanthi, Nkrumah, McConnon. Luhimbo is tuned in this morning from Dar, as usual. Good to see Joe and Co. Ruto must stop preaching his records or success. Debe tupu hupiga kelele. Ouch. African Royal says good morning. And Cliff Sandy says, good morning, Team Spice. We were just reminded of the circus that is the National Assembly, complete with clowns and elephants and the trapeze.
And the little elves. You think it's Christmas.
Yes, that's where we are. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this morning, and all of you who will come into the room at a later point. Thank you for being here, as you usually are. What we're going to do at this point is take a look at what's happening. We know it's Friday, so a lot of people are leaving the city. I did not realize how many people actually leave the city on Friday and go to other places. So we'll see a lot of outbound traffic, but we'll take a look at what that looks like. We'll take a look at what's going on in the skies as well, and then we'll come and look into what's going on in the headlines. It's 26 to 7. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with Spice FM.
All right, so cloudy conditions in Nairobi this morning at 14. We'll see a high of 23, and it's 11 and partly sunny in Nakuru, 13 and partly cloudy conditions in Njeri, 18 and clear in Kisumu, and 16 and mostly clear in Kakamega. It's mostly sunny at 23 in Mombasa and 25 and partly sunny looking into Malindi, while at 18 it's partly sunny in Marsabit. It's cloudy in Kampala this morning at 18. We'll see a high of 28, and at 22 it's sunny in Dar es Salaam. 6 degrees, temperatures dropping in Johannesburg. We'll see a high of 16, and it's 26 and mostly clear looking into Lagos. Clear at 18 in London, and cloudy at 27 in Beijing. Mostly clear Thursday night in New York at 26. Coming into Friday, we'll see a high of 31 and a low of 21.
Chilled Spice. Spice up your life.
Traffic update brought to you by Chloride Oxide.
Yeah, and there it is, outbound traffic that we're seeing this morning. It's going to take you off the A104 out west this morning, creeping, and then you get to Kimende at some point today. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. The Thika Superhighway, there's a little bit of traffic. It's heading into the city. You get a bit clogged up as you get towards the Pangani underpass. And as you then get out towards Wangari Maathai, we're looking good. Not a problem here. There is some traffic, however, on Outer Ring, outbound on Outer Ring, heading in direction of the Thika Superhighway. Not quite sure what's cooking over there. But there's also some traffic this morning as you're heading towards Embakasi. Also inbound from Embakasi, North Airport Road is already a clog up, and Cabanas is likely to follow suit in no time. Southern Bypass looks good. You can get to Karen, not a problem, out towards Ngong Town without having to get into the city this morning. Apart from that, all looks good. It's not mwecheche. Let's keep things moving. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Traffic update was brought to you by Chloride Oxide. Wherever the road takes you these days, stay powered by Chloride Oxide. Get total peace of mind on the highway with the premium Oxide battery range backed by a rock-solid 18-month manufacturer's warranty. Chloride Oxide. Inside from Chloride Oxide.
Turn up the heat with endless entertainment on Star Times. Feel every moment of the action as the biggest leagues reach their thrilling finales. Recharge your monthly subscription to unlock a world of endless drama to enjoy Novella E, now available on your Nyota bouquet. Dive into blockbuster movies with the launch of TNT, your new home of big screen hits. And for the little ones, a world of non-stop fun on Cartoon Network, now on Star Times. News, sports, drama, movies, kids, and reality all in one place. All for you. To renew your subscription, dial *858# for self-service or get in touch with our call center on 0719 077 077 for customer care. Buy a StarTimes decoder at any of our deal shops countrywide. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 22 minutes to 7 o'clock, and there's a prayer there from Korir Richard, who's saying, let's pray for rain. Huku North Rift, Mambo, Hayendi. And we saw that report yesterday that it looks like it's drying up in Kenya's bread basket. So praying for rain. And that's a prayer that we can actually put up, that may it rain, because it's needed. If you have a problem like that in Kenya's bread basket, then it doesn't look very good. But so hoping that, the rains can come down. As we look into the headlines this morning, Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard Group. The Standard newspaper. Mm-hmm. Who's fooling whom? Whomst. There's a picture there on the front page of Roads CS Davis Chirchir. Roads and Transport is the name of that cabinet.
Yes, that one.
That one.
Mm.
There's also a picture of His Excellency the President. He's shaking hands with one Zimbabwean gentleman, Wicknell Chivayo. As Transport CS Davis Chirchir dismisses reports linking Wicknell Chivayo's firm to the multi-billion shilling JKIA expansion and insists the project will cost no more than 154 billion shillings, insiders tell a radically different story. Sources say the airport overhaul has merely been split into phases that could push the final bill beyond 310 billion, raising questions about transparency, procurement and financing. If no contractor has been selected, why are detailed figures and consortium names out? And if the project is only worth 154 billion, why are insiders talking about a second phase, almost as costly as the first one? To end the back and forth, all the government needs to do is to do what? Make the contract public. This is what the LSK is demanding. Yeah. Make it public, then there will be no speculation. Nature, she abhors a vacuum. So we don't want to fill it with anything that is untrue. So make it public so that we can put the thing to bed. Is it actually 154? Is it more? Make it public.
Yep.
The president has his way as MPs passed the tax bill. What began as a promise to ease the tax burden ended in a bruising political battle as 122 MPs voted yes to pass the Finance Bill 2026, and the accusations of manipulation, executive interference, and a rushed legislative process. While the government celebrated tax reliefs on key sectors and deletion of some unpopular proposals, opposition MPs dismissed the changes as cosmetic, accusing the Treasury of repackaging punitive measures. You know where the secret is? In my humblest of opinions, it's in the numbers. So if you are here talking and saying we cannot, we must, we protect the people, and then you don't show up.
Where are you?
Exactly. I mean, it's the no-brainer. As in, you actually do not need a brain to figure it out. You don't need one. That's what a no-brainer is.
If you ask me, members of parliament who were in the House prosecuting the matter, I don't have a problem with them. I have a problem with those who are not in there and will come later to tell us, you know, to object. No, you should have objected on the floor and voted against it.
That was not the day to go see your chiropractor at 8:30 p.m. No, please.
You look at the people who voted. It's only, 122?
122.
So even if you are to go by the number of elected MPs, which is 290, 122 is not half. So if they had showed up the way we are saying, the bill would not have passed.
Thank you.
Those who were not present yesterday, if your member was not present yesterday, if they did not report for the work you have hired them to do, they passed this bill. They are as guilty as the person who voted yes.
100%.
True.
They are.
Yep.
This is how serious you're going to have to take things. And to the point that we are saying, you know what? It actually doesn't matter whether they voted yes or no. Do you understand what I'm saying? That they were not present to represent you. They were not present.
Yes.
So, do you know who your MP is? In fact, Auntie producer, we should do a session where know your MP. Do you know who your MP is? That you can bring this thing to the door and say, if you were not there, then why should you were not there yesterday alone is enough for us to tell that you will not come back in 2027.
I think I'll make a proposal to the editors as well to just list the number of MPs who were there, how they voted, those who are not there. Then Wananchi can.
That's a good idea, actually.
Indeed.
We can get that information.
They have absconded for duty. Our employees did not show up for work. So today we have a finance bill that otherwise would not be having, courtesy of them not showing up yesterday. Yes.
Actually, those who are not there voted for it.
Yes, they did. It's just like if something is happening and I have an opportunity to say something about it, but I keep silent, I've basically told you that I like that thing that has happened. It does. Let's go back into the courts where it's been robust this week. Grandchildren cannot claim their grandparents' property according to the court.
It's a no-brainer.
That's another one.
It's a no-brainer. I mean, first of all, inheritance is limited to the direct beneficiaries of the person who has passed on.
Yes.
Number two, inheritance should not be interpreted to be a source of wealth. Please work for your money.
Amen.
Work for you. My wealth is mine and my wife.
Yes.
Even my kids.
It's not theirs.
You'll be lucky.
If I left something to you.
Yes.
Okay.
So we need to normalize hard work and also growing generational wealth. Because at the end of the day, the moment you see these disputes coming up and the issues of litigation to do with inheritance, they want to share the loot. And once they do, none of them enrich themselves to pass on anything to the next generation.
It's true.
So it should be, if there is wealth to be inherited, it should be crafted and well managed to come to grow to generational wealth.
While that is happening of very serious things, a man has been accused of spending his entire wedding night chewing muguka.
Something must kill a man.
Who sent you to marry? Then you go and chew what? See here. Rabbit hole, we are not entering.
So she went to a Kadhi's court. So this is neck of the woods, eh?
Yeah.
Abdallah.
Yeah. Said, we married, and
he
the
was
assumption.
meditating on how to manage this marriage.
Come and go.
Well, you should be meditating on other things.
Other things on your wedding night. Not chewing the muguka is not the thing you should be chewing,
Even
Javeni.
the police have stopped the traffic for you to go, then you go chew muguka.
The courts have seen some interesting things this week, I must say. Hey. Who is whomst is fooling whomst? On the JKIA deal, Chilchir triggers more questions. Matiang'i holds talks with Sifuna team in unity bid. Okay.
I have a question on that airport thing. How is it that we only attract controversial investors?
To the airport?
Yes, to the airport. We had
Since
Greenfield Terminal. Adani, and now Chivayo.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
we don't even know how much it will cost us.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Yeah. I think any mega project, we should just suspend it until you have a new regime in 56 weeks.
Would I be wrong to conclude that by the time the government of Kenya has decided that it wants to refurbish the airport, it knows, it has done the costing, that it understands exactly what it needs by the time they're floating the tender. So that means the cabinet secretary is able to just give us their proposal.
They could.
And all this is silent.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. That's what the LSK is saying as well.
Yeah.
Just tell us what your plans are, and you should make it public.
But you forget, a commission was formed to audit your public debt. Have you seen a report?
No, please.
But you forget, the CS Treasury said, once upon landing this Bible, I'm going to audit the public debt and publish. Have you seen a report?
No.
But here he is with a budget.
Yeah.
So what would make you expect that the CS Treasury will come out and tell you, by the way, this is a blueprint of how we want our airport to look like. And from where we stand, this is the costing. We have Kenyans who are, they don't have to be Kenyans, but you have investors who are willing to partner.
True.
Clean deals.
They are.
So please, I don't know where you are shopping for investors.
Or they said if you want to do that airport, you need to have invested in the country around 100 billion Kenya shillings for you to qualify for that tender.
So has Chivayo done that? Has Adani done that?
I don't know, but Chivayo's the next story in terms of a headline. A fraudster tycoon who rubs shoulders with presidents. Who's this Chivayo guy?
You should know litigations he's facing back home.
That's why they said fraudster tycoon.
Right.
Because who is he and where is he from? See, in where I come from, if a man comes and says he wants to marry your daughter, then they tell them, thank you very much, welcome. They even feed you. They say, hey, very good, we've heard what you said. Come and be going, we'll talk to you later. When he goes, then they ask the girl, you want to marry this man? They say, yes, we want to marry. They go. Then they send an emissary to their town. They go and just a random guy just to be asking questions.
NIS.
Do you know the NIS? Do you know this guy in their family? Are they thieves? Are they mad?
Do they run at night?
That kind of thing.
Yes.
Has anybody gone to find out this man, whether there's madness in their village?
But
this guy.
It's in public domain. It is here, well published.
That is now the report of the emissary. Is in this story on page 6. You understand?
So we are not wedding off our girl.
No.
JKA stays with us.
No.
Absolutely.
They
will not pick this flower.
Yes.
But we still have it.
Yeah. Court blocks state bid to seize Kiambu markets. Court says no, you can't have that. Leave it in the county. The courts have been really busy this week. Actually, US beats China to clinch 9.7 trillion shilling minerals deal. I'm just going to breathe and pass. I can't. No, Kai, please, no, please.
We've just been auctioned.
Should I tell you very fast?
Please.
Okay. I wanted to pass, but I can't. America has struck a preliminary minerals deal with Kenya. securing a foothold in one of the world's largest untapped rare earth deposits worth about $62.4 billion. The deal edges out China in a critical race for resources vital to modern technology and national defense. The until now secret agreement announced by President William Ruto at the sidelines of the G7 summit in France would require strategic minerals, including niobium and rare earths, be processed domestically, marking a fundamental departure from Africa's historic role as a supplier of raw materials. So when they made this deal, he went on to say, you will manufacture here. Just hold your thoughts.
Okay.
Because I'm also telling you that KNEC braces for toughest season as over 3.5 million learners sit examinations this year. So, of course, there's the grade 10 exams that take place. Then there's the KEPSEA, there's the KJSEA, and then there is the KCSE.
Yes.
That's all happening this year. And Peter Kimani is in the opinion pages this morning, as well as Moshiri Karaja, on how government can make new shoot-to-pay plan even better. That's what it looks like in the Standard today. Yeah. Over to you, sir.
Let's go to the Daily Nation real quick, and the headline: standoff over Gen Z protests. So it is a memorial, and this will be the second anniversary of bloody 2024 uprising. So 50 is the number of people killed during protests in 2024, according to the State Human Rights Watchdog. And here is a notice to police that we would like to notify you that on June 25th at 10 a.m. we have invited all Kenyans to march to the Kenyan Parliament to demand justice and lay flowers where our children were murdered. So that is a statement to the police. Perhaps that is notification that we shall be marching to Parliament buildings. So Douglas Kanja is the Inspector General of Police, and it is hoped that they would be able to allow protesters to just do their thing. Now, hunt on for man suspected to have dismembered his lover. Yeah, police have so far recovered the woman's torso and some of her limbs and are still searching for missing head. The government pathologists could not conclusively determine the exact cause of death because critical body parts are still missing. Yeah, man, if it doesn't work, just leave. It doesn't have to get there. Now, gang storms Chemelil School and injures 10. Armed attackers invade a school, students report back, leaving parents, tutors injured amid dispute over institution's management. So goons assaulted staff and parents, vandalized offices and stole cash, mobile phones and other valuables. That's how low we've sunk. That you're going to attack a schools because of management. Now, Wyckoffek wants court to block JKIA expansion bid. High Court certifies urgent petition seeking to halt project pending disclosure orders sought. Now, lobby questions IMC construction links to Wicknell Chivayo amid scrutiny of airport financing structure. So again, Wicknell appears on page 4, and on page 5, the state to borrow over 100 billion shillings for airport upgrade. So in the 154 billion shillings that the cabinet secretary says will be the one to be used to beautify or just to upgrade the airport, 100 billion shillings of it will be borrowed. Sema Deni? Deni. I know Joe has a lot to say to that, but hold your horses. Now, tense moments as lawmakers debate disputed tax plans. It's no longer a debate, it has been passed. Now, you can march, but police set red line on Gen Z protests. So you can march, but don't go to Parliament. Yeah. I don't know where that falls in the Constitution. If you have red lines and red tapes on where you can or cannot.
This chick, not chick. This Nairobi woman rep,
yes, that's
Esther Passaris had suggested that there were certain places that you should not be able to go, but that was just it never made its way beyond.
Yeah, because she wanted you to demonstrate against Parliament, but you might as well be sent to Machakos.
Yeah, go demonstrate
over there. Okay. Yeah. So the world respects Ruto on his foreign trips. You like? President Ruto says Kenyans should be proud that the country has attracted global attention and is being invited to meetings. So delegates at Oceans Conference in Mombasa agreed to expand marine protected areas. So the president says, even as I'm diplomat number 001, right? These meetings I'm doing, the world respects us now.
Yeah, it's because of this thing that I've done that the world has respected us.
That even today, 9.6 trillion is because the world loves us.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Kamanya, let's look at the star.
I would rather be loved by Kenyans and not the world. I think the president should be keen on us appreciating the work we have paid him to do and doing it diligently.
Mapenzi yake international.
Okay. But I digress. The star talks about, well, there is a conversation going on about marijuana, sensimina. Cannabis sativa. It says Bang divides MPs push for change of law. There's a conversation ongoing on how we can exploit the medicinal value of that. But then, legally it is a controlled substance. So that conversation is happening on page 2 of the Star. It says for former Kibera MP Ken Okoh, the fight for medicinal cannabis was personal. Diagnosed with a colorectal cancer in 2019, Okoh spent his final month in and out of hospitals, enduring excruciating pain that conventional medication could barely manage. During treatment in Paris, he turned to cannabidiol, which is CBD oils, a cannabis derivative, which brought him significant relief. We know cannabinoids or cannabinoids have been used for medicinal purposes across the world. So that conversation is being escalated in our country. Be interesting to see how it goes. Also, weed is a cash crop, but do I say?
Do you know there are people that have acres and acres of weed farms over here in another country called Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Okay. But we can also do the equivalent, the hemp. You know hemp. I've been to a hemp farm.
Yeah, I mean, we use it in our hair. We use it in lotions and shower gels.
For garments.
Yeah.
Hemp is is better than cotton by far. But, so we need to be creative. Wajakoya was not far off with some of his proposals. Well, page 4 says storm over 18 billion shillings to be spent in 2 weeks. There is a supplementary budget that has been approved, totaling to 18 billion Kenya shillings, that needs to be spent before the 30th of June in the next 2 weeks.
So they don't know how to spend it. Abi, they want to spend it very fast.
Yes, and they say they need to spend it very fast before they get the next loot. State House gets 1 billion. Exam invigilation fees is 1.5 billion. Financial reporting center, we have that. Gets 50 million. He's on page 5. I didn't know.
Okay.
Surprise. 2026 FIFA World Cup broadcast rights, 150 million.
Gocha kwanza.
Wait.
Wait. My head is aching. Sorry.
Start again.
FIFA what?
FIFA 2026 FIFA World Cup broadcast rights.
Kenya bought
150 million.
For how many matches? Because if I
think it's 17. KBC said they only
exactly. That is what I'm saying. If it's those matches and it's not, it's from the round of 16. If I'm not wrong, moving forward, 150 million.
Yes.
Mulibiwa.
Nyota project. Not the Star. Not the newspaper Star. It is a Nyota project. 5.7 billion.
Stop it. Because we know that Nyota funds are donor funds, if not a loan. Sasa, where are you taking money again from there to put into the Nyota project?
My friend, it's election period.
Good question.
Hey, Jermaine.
It's supplementary budget. It's money to be taken.
Stop it.
Yes. So, Financial Reporting Center, again I repeat, I didn't know you have that. 50 million. Who works there? Do you know anybody who works in our Financial
Reporting Center in Akwanga Wapi?
Yes.
They report on?
Finances.
Can they tell us how much we're using to finance the airport?
Maybe they should also know who. Sendo.
Yeah. And then also rationalization. I don't know what that is, but it gets 2.5 billion.
Yeah, something could be more expensive even after budgeted for. It could be less expensive. So now rationalization is balancing.
The miscellaneous. How? So then, it's called FCP. Our CS Treasurer.
FCP.
A says supplementary budget was necessary to adjust some lines.
Okay. Expert advice.
But sasa pesa imebaki hiyo kuadjust some lines the hakuadjustiwa.
The expert advice there.
Oh, sorry. I don't know anything.
Well, it says page 6. I think this will feed into a conversation about the counties. The Nairobi to get lion's share of counties, 428 billion allocation for revenues. There is a breakdown on how counties are going to share the 428 billion. And finally, the finance bill passes as opposition protests. That on page 7 of the Star. More stories continue, including how protests they served a notice, but there seems to be gagged on how the 25th will play out. But hey, we are Kenyans, we the people.
Indeed.
More
stories. And we're going to get into some of those discussions as we go along. Good morning, 7 a.m.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the news. I'm Sheila Tembur. The National Assembly passed the Finance Bill 2026 with the amendments paving the way for its submission to President William Ruto for assent before it becomes law. The bill was approved on Thursday night through an electronic vote after MPs adopted all amendments proposed by the Finance and National Planning Committee. A total of 122 MPs voted in favor of the bill, while 40 opposed it, and no member abstained from the vote.
Order. Honorable members, the results of the vote are as follows. On the third reading to the finance bill, the ayes, electronic vote 103, manual vote 19, total 122. The nays, electronic vote 36, manual vote 4, total 40. Abstentions nil, so the results, the ayes have it.
The House had initially passed the bill by acclamation. However, after several MPs called for a division and the required quorum was confirmed, the Speaker ordered a formal electronic vote in line with parliamentary procedures.
Mr. Chairman, we should not be doing such things just to make Kenyans look like the government is minding them. You know, Honorable Speaker, it is important that we be honest with Kenyans. To Honorable Macau, show us where in this bill the things you are alleging are about invoices are.
That registered person is talking about is the same people he's talking about. Mama Mboga, he's talking about Mutumba. Yes! That is the truth.
I now put the question, honorable members, that clause 31-29 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the Finance Committee. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
The vote followed a heated debate with MPs from both the broad-based government and the opposition expressing differing views on various provisions of the bill. Several legislators repeatedly sought clarification on key issues, saying they needed more information to adequately brief their colleagues.
Actually, we want to reject this finance bill in totality. Clause by clause, it should be withdrawn. When they realize the heat, now they are busy cleaning it up. We will and Kenyans can see they attempt to clean up. We should reject in total. We don't need to raise this, extra money through these punitive taxes that are being proposed.
Thank you, Honorable Oundo. Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from this kind of immaturity from the member for
we will listen to the Honorable in silence. Then you will have your chance.
Why would you be that unfair to your people? Why?
Thank you.
Why would you be that unfair?
Thank you.
Why?
Thank you.
Why, Wandeto?
That's okay.
The passage of the bill comes after weeks of intense scrutiny in the National Assembly, where lawmakers examine a range of tax proposals and revenue-raising measures presented by the government. The Finance Bill 2026 proposes amendments to several key tax laws, including the Income Tax Act, the VAT Act, the Excise Duty Act, the Tax Procedures Act, and the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act. The proposed changes are intended to broaden the tax base, enhance compliance, and boost revenue collection to support government spending priorities in the 2026-2027 financial year. During the committee stage, MPs adopted several changes following public participation. These included the removal or revision of some complex tax proposals, as well as measures aimed at retaining tax concessions on selected key products. A Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has secured a legal victory after the political parties disputes tribunal quashed an ODM resolution petition seeking to remove him as the party's Secretary General. The tribunal ruled that ODM violated due process by failing to give Sifuna notice and an opportunity to defend himself before the decision was made. However, it said the party may proceed with disciplinary action if it follows the law and the constitution. Sifuna was also directed to participate in the ongoing disciplinary process and may return to court if dissatisfied with the outcome. And that's the Newswire. I'm Sheila Tembur.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we may find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 8 minutes after 7 o'clock and into the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation this Friday morning. Thank you for being here. Our live streams are up. YouTube, Facebook, and on X, and our audience on KTN this morning as we continue our conversations. Thank you for joining us and for allowing us to then engage with you on some of these pertinent matters. We're taking a look into the weekend review. We'll get into that in just a minute. But you've been powering us up. this week. And so we were looking at a picture of that vehicle that we will buy and power up with this Chloride XL, will we not?
Yes. You see, now every other time we talk about systems, so we talk about government systems that are ought to work, but let's bring it closer home. We're talking about systems in your vehicle. So you have driver assist features, you also have safety and comfort features in your vehicle. And for that, then that means for everything to work well, you need a battery that matches the technicalities that come with modern vehicles. So here we are, perhaps it's morning, Kamanya comes from a very cold place. As he's driving to Nairobi, what does he need? Heated seats, heated steering wheel, and with that then a battery. Chloride Exide has one called Exide Matrix that is able to power everything so that you enjoy the quality things that comes with your vehicle. So apart from getting a good performing battery, you get 18 months warranty that comes with it, just an assurance that uko fiti. And with that as well, it comes with a way you can scan that to ensure that you're getting the authentic battery that you do need. So if you are driving, you don't know what battery you have, you need to ensure that it's Chloride Exide, and Matrix Exide is there to sort you out.
Kabisa. All right, so keep powering us up as we get into the weekend. That's for sure. We'll then be able to get more insights as to that battery that you can then get with Chloride Exide. We continue our conversation, and then to allow us to look into the week in review, we will have two guests. One of them is here on time, and he is the Wiper NEC member, Kamau Wambiru. Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
We're taking a look at the week in review. There are many things that have happened of bills. As the most recent one, the finance bill was actually passed by a majority of the votes in Parliament yesterday.
I don't think it was majority though, but yeah.
Of the votes of people who are present. Yesterday it was the majority. We can talk about who was present and who was not. And like we've said, if you were not there,
you voted for it.
You voted for it. Yeah. But let's get into it in just a minute. We'll talk about some of those things that we can already hear what your opinion is about some of those things. Deals and demands that are being made. The president's out of the country. JKIA is being redesigned. We don't know how much for. But okay, a lot of these things come into play. And even as we do that, Dennis has taken us to a country that maybe you don't know where it is.
Guinea-Bissau.
I know where it is.
You know where it is?
Yes.
Okay.
The people of Guinea-Bissau are called Guineans of Bissau, right? They have hippos that swim in salty water, as opposed to what we know on this side of the woods. But the problem that we get from this country that has large areas of mangrove is the baobab does not grow in a day. The baobab tree does not grow in a day. How would you interpret it?
Baobab does not grow
in a day.
Baobab does not grow in a day. Good. Yeah. I think to me, Altam is as some of these things that we see today, they are not born. They do not just happen. They are things that they have been happening eventually. You know, they have been, conversations have been underway, things have been happening. And I would equate it like to what do you call it? A pregnancy. So I'll say, pregnancy does not just happen. Yes, even if I've seen, there are several women, I think I have seen, they have not, I didn't see them with a big belly.
To be very careful.
with a big belly, but all of a sudden, they are having infants. And then I inquired and I was told, yeah, there are women whose bellies do not pop out.
True.
Big time, but so the same. As same as the pregnancy does not just happen. It starts from somewhere. The planting, even pregnancies planted like that, and then it is seen whenever it matures. So that is what I would term it as. Yes,
process. It's planted.
Interesting analogy. True.
Thank you.
How has the week been? What did it look like? Of course, we're looking at it from a youth perspective now. And this is a week away from the commemoration of the June 2024 protests against the finance bill. A finance bill has been passed now. And I'm going to repeat. By a majority of votes in Parliament, the finance bill has been passed.
Well, the week has been good. It's been cold. I hear that Kamanya comes from a cold place. It is not cold as compared from where I come from. Come from Limuru. It's quite cold actually. This morning it was very cold.
Nice.
And it's still very cold, but it's a good weather. We love it. It's a weather that attracts money. So, finance bill. This country is a funny place to live in with funny leaders. We have been having a finance bill of 2023 to Kateta, 2024 to Kufa, 2025 Wakatua, now 2026. We have been having this conversation about this bill for a long time now, since they started, giving us signals of what is in the bill. We discussed, and now here we are. The same members of parliament who we have been complaining about over and over again. 162 members were present, 122 said yes, 40 said no. Out of a house that has 349. So I wonder what those other seats were doing empty. And these are people who have been elected by the people to represent the people, to live for the people, to work for the people. Now, when 100 plus were absent, and absent doing what? And these people were entirely elected. They were employed by the people of Kenya to go and actually represent the people of Kenya. But the members of parliament we have today, the majority of them, the 162, and maybe the majority who are not there as well, they represent William Samoei Ruto. They are there to sing and to cherry for William Ruto. They are there to tickle him and make him laugh, and that is what they have. That is what they are there to do. But they are not there to represent the people of Kenya. When we say that the bill was bad, it had queer bills like the VAT on M-Pesa, the access for KRA giving KRA getting access to records and for mobile money. What else? Mitumba, which was eventually exempted. Increase in VAT on farm products. When we talk about these things, and these members of parliament, they just don't, they don't want to listen to what we say. It is very saddening, because the same members of parliament, they represent a people in their constituencies where people are going through a lot. The same members of parliament, they have families, they have relatives, they have friends, but their work is to tickle the president, and it's quite unfortunate. But Nduh, just like 2024, 2025, mtindo ni ule. Akileta mbwekse, tunaleta mbwekse. Tutapatana kwa street. It's coming. Yes.
Okay, that's what's coming from your mind.
Yes.
Jimmy Gikwa joins us this morning as well, youth and governance analyst. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And he's also a good friend of William Ruto. and from the great, it's not great, the party, the ruling party. Yes, and you see, that is how they get late even.
Let's let him tell us about what he thinks coming from his own mouth. Like I said, thank you for joining us, albeit late.
Okay.
We're looking at the weekend review.
Yes.
Of course, coming up from what happened last night in terms of the passing of the finance bill, which then very quickly will become the Finance Act before the 1st of July. What's your take on how the week went?
I generally think the week was brilliant, nice, and I'm happy actually the finance bill went through, because in 2024, 2025, they had the same scenario, but at least by then there was something to talk about. Now, the people who were actually propagating for any change did not even have an idea. They looked like duldos in parliament. I'm sorry to say, most of what they were saying was not practical, and they did not bring out something that was vibe for the electorate in the country. Basically, what they were doing was trying to cloud chase. Being a near next to election, they were trying also to whip the emotions, which unfortunately didn't work. And I'm really happy because Kenyans are also awoke. Because again, it was the 30 people who were from that other party that was created the other day. And their kind of thinking is what is messing this country, because
30 people from one party that voted in Parliament yesterday?
No, a grouping, not basically. We have two groupings. We have the Linda Mwananchi and the Munyororo thing. So basically, it was just a communication of the two. What are we calling them now? The opposition, the acting opposition as per se.
These are the ones who voted against the finance bill in Parliament yesterday, according to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were some of the issues that come out to play?
Some of the issues, like
allow me to finish the question. That come out to play that could have been representation issues for which members of Parliament said maybe you can't do this for Kenyans or not. What are some of those?
I think majorly the biggest problem was from what I saw, from what Kenyans saw, 90% of them didn't even read the bill, because when asked by the majority leader, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, on some of the clauses they were saying that were there, actually somebody asked for some specs, and I say, I love your specs, they're nice.
Thank you.
Basically, somebody asked, and the speaker of the day actually told him, I'll give you my specs. So what they're trying to propagate, what I just had my brother here talk about the Mitumba levy and the Mitumba taxes. From what I had John Buddy, the CS for finance, say, it was a long shot in terms of making the any levies or taxes to be paid at the source, not come and do double taxation or put on more levies when the product is in the country. So I do not see where they were fighting for any Mwananchi, because they have not brought out anything of concern to the electorate as per se.
Gekwa, there is a concern. Let's just follow up on the processes that went into the passing of the bill.
Yes.
If you look at the time when the budget statement was read in Parliament, the first reading and second reading, even as members of Parliament were giving their submissions before the House, there is a feeling that the Speaker at the time and members who were in the House did not give time for members to prosecute their agenda, because there was a lot of interference from those who were supporting the bill. That even the decision that was made, that was on Wednesday, to push to Thursday for finally the Committee of the Whole House, where members would have an opportunity to go through clause by clause, there was a lot of interference that would see members of Parliament not able to prosecute their matters on the floor of the House. What would be your response to that, and why do you think members supporting the bill were making it difficult to those who had issues or were pushing for amendments to do their job?
Like I said, again, I'll repeat myself a bit, and as I answer your question, what was happening in the House of Parliament is basically what is supposed to happen. There was a majority who were trying to push out something. There was a minority who were trying to have their say in one or the other. But as they were trying to do that, we are trying to fight something that has been a big problem in this country, is miscommunication and distortion of facts, which, unless anybody who genuinely had a good issue that would have been discussed, debated, and amended, none of them came up, and I would say none of them came up with anything substantial for the common Mwananchi. What they were doing was, it was more of a heckling match from this guy to this guy and this guy to this guy. So basically what I'm trying to put across is, it was wrong, and I saw the majority leader of the Republic of Kenya in the Parliament, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, state, we cannot use this house as a house of propaganda, a house of misrepresentation in terms of facts that are not verified, to some of the people who are actually propagating on the same, who are actually shouting and not making any sense in terms of what they were putting across. So basically it was just a lot of hula baloo from people who wanted to cloud chase, because if you remember what happened in 2024, it was a really disgusting scenario in terms of we lost a lot of lives, because some of the communication that was done, some of the communication was right, some was not wrong. People who had the idea that we needed to also talk We need to talk as a country. We also need to understand some things as a country. But when we have people propagating for their own interests, then now we are not going anywhere.
Yep. Come on, come on. Let me bring in even as a response to him. There is different sectors had their say, had their submissions before various committees on their concerns. You talk about the manufacturers, you talk about the Mutumba individuals, you talk about the retailers of mobile phones as well. Everybody has had their say with regard to what the bill would do and the cost of doing business on the same. And you listen to some of the members of parliament while they were on the floor of the house submitting, there was a lot of interference because you're given 3 minutes and there is constant distraction for anyone to submit. Was there an intentional push to have this bill pass, as it were, without amendments?
And it's actually what I was coming to counter as well. It was deliberate. Everything that was happening in that house was deliberate, and I would back it up by saying the MP for Funyula. MP is called Wilberforce Oundo, said that whoever made this bill might not be a Kenyan and does not live in Kenya and does not understand the people of Kenya, what they are going through, and does not have the interest of Kenyans at heart. The so-called minority leader, Junet Mohammed, he said it does not matter where you come from or what you do. If the bill comes to the floor of the house, now what we do with it is what that matters, and what we will do is what we will do, and whatever we will do is what will go and what will sell. What has that person told you? That we are here to push. We are here on an agenda. We are not here to criticize, to look at things factually. We are not here to intensively negate this matter with fairness. We are here to push what we have been told to push. And with all fairness, in my community we say, by that I mean, whatever meets the eye, you don't need to internalize it. You just see it, you hear it, and you will know whatever it is happening. So when my brother comes here to tell us he is happy that the bill passed, I am not aware where he lives or what he does and the friends he has with whatever we are having here or in the floor of the house. I think he doesn't want to tell us that he is happy that M-Pesa transactions are going to be taxed. Is he okay with the farm inputs being removed from zero rated and to 16%, such that even right now we cannot afford feeds. I'm a farmer myself. We cannot afford feeds to feed the pigs, the cows, the chicks. Most of us we run to Uganda to buy maize jam, Poland, because the feeds here in Kenya sometimes their prices are crazy. But from what we get after this bill has passed, what will happen to the farmers? Is what my brother Geko here is telling me, that he is okay KRA accessing all our mobile transactions. Where is our privacy here? Are we working for the government?
Well, you raise pertinent questions, and apparently this bill, finance bill, seems to be okay or not okay, depending on the political side one assumes. But if you look at it critically, we need to understand that as a country, the budget, we finance it ourselves. And the government operates on only two things: revenue that they get from us through taxes and levies, and borrowing. When you look at it, regardless of your political divide today, are you satisfied when you look at the ending financial year in 2 weeks' time, thereabout, by the performance of our budget? Because a lot of Kenyans are saying they do not have confidence on how we are managing our economy. From where you see it, Jimmy, in your opinion, are you satisfied that if you were to rate the performance of our previous year, knowing that we have not had a published public debt, we don't know how much we owe, but in this 4.8 trillion, we'll be paying 2.3 trillion by end of this year. in terms of debt. Are you satisfied by the performance or the management of our economy as we talk of it today, before we even go to the next financial year?
By and large, I think I'm mostly very comfortable. Very comfortable because first, we have not been red flagged by any international institution, any financial institution on our lack.
But we have. IMF just said we need to publish our debt.
Publish, but it has not red flagged us on non-payment of any of our debt obligation as a country. So I think William has done a brilliant job. It come from 2022 to now also. Or imposing again, he's also taken quite a colossal amount in terms of the debt. He's also piled up on the debt. But as we were, I listened to a gentleman called Jim Maino Njeri, and I think I like his analysis on most of the things. And he talks about the debt burden we have. The debt burden we have may be fiscal in terms of what is there, the practicability of running a country, and the practicability of having a debt, to be able to handle a debt. I think so far, as a country, we are taking the brunt because of people's problems for the last 20 years. And the last 20 years means even the debt that we are taking right now is going to the current expenditure and running government and paying debts. So But
we shouldn't. Constitutionally speaking, yes, that should not be the practice.
But now we have a country to run. Again,
no, but it's against the law. It's against the law. We are guided by a constitution.
Yes.
We are led by the law. But so even this finance bill and the previous
irregardless.
No, that cannot be regardless.
That's what I'm telling you. You know why I'm saying.
Let's breathe for a moment.
You know why I'm saying regardless is because
can we just be careful to note that you're not saying that you're going to take the Constitution and put it aside
in the pocket? No, we are not doing that.
Is that what you're saying?
What are we doing? Because
no. I'm asking what you are saying.
Yes, exactly.
By saying
exactly
irregardless.
Irregardless, I was putting. We have a practical solution. The Constitution can be amended. True or false?
It has not yet been. Okay.
But we amend the Constitution. We amend laws. We amend rules. We amend caps and everything.
Yes.
We have a situation where we may not be able to wait for some parliamentary process to make us get to somewhere or run a country, something that would cost the country more harm than good.
Which is what?
Basically, probably even the debt burden as it is. Our obligations as a country. The cost of living for the common mwananchi. We are looking at now at a situation where we have a problem with our fuel levies, and we have a problem with that is global.
But you don't need to amend the Constitution to publish, to do an audit of our public debt to know in actuality how much do you know. But the reason I'm raising this, because a significant portion of the budget, almost 50%, is going to finance the debt. Which 90% is odious, was not approved by Parliament.
So that is why I'm saying.
And we don't need to amend the Constitution to deal with that item.
Yes, that is why I'm saying, and I want to be very clear on this.
Right.
We have an odious debt for 20 years. We cannot now have the miracle to come and do what is supposed to be done for the last 20 years. And already we are in a problem. We have to be practical in running a country. Country is run by our taxes. A country is me and you.
Correct.
So somebody takes the bullet or makes the hard decision in the whole erroneous process. So we have had an erroneous process for the last 20 years. We don't expect to make it clean now when we're already in a shithole.
What language?
We see.
Sorry. When we're already in a problem, in a very big problem in terms of what is happening on the debt issue. I've listened, like I was saying, I like quoting him because I think he's very factual on what he does and his research on the budgets and the debt burdens we have. He actually said by the time William took government, we were at 84 shillings to 100. But now we are at 93 shillings to 100. So we are going deeper into a debt burden, and nobody wants to take the hard bullet in terms of telling Kenyans how we get out.
So you're saying the way to do this is to borrow more money?
Not necessarily borrow more money, but actually we don't have we actually don't have.
We don't have a remedy to not borrow. No, we do.
We do.
We do. It's very easy.
Number one, we have not been able for the last 3 years. We have not been able to meet our quotas.
Why?
In KRA.
Why?
Collection.
Why?
Collection.
You can't collect.
Collection. There is collection. There is the people who are tax evasion, which is supposed to also be checked in Parliament as much as it should be checked in KRA. We also have other issues in terms of. We have also done a lot of zero rating on so many things, and given so many incentives to outside.
And how much money have you borrowed in the last 3 years?
3 trillion, 3 to 4 trillion.
It is more than that.
Yes.
No, but you see, the problem, and Kamau, you may chime in on this.
No, not now. We're going to take a break. We can chime away after that. Go ahead. Ask your question.
This current budget, the finance bill you're looking at, is seeking to borrow more than 1.1 trillion again to mop savings from Kenyans. Yet the cost of living does not go down. I'm asking this because you said you're okay and you're comfortable with the passing of the finance bill. If we, the majority of Kenyans, are not comfortable with the cost of living, which you agree is high.
All of us are not comfortable.
And that should be one of the metrics we use to measure whether the economy is performing.
Yes.
The inflation, the GDP ratio, the debt ratio, they are not balancing. You understand this basic economics. How then do we sit down and say, the finance bill we are having today is going to work for Kenyans for the next 1 year?
Think about that question as we take a break, and let's take a look at what's going on with traffic, because then now we're asking ourselves layered questions here in terms of a constitution, in terms of what you can or cannot do when it comes to borrowing, what you should do in terms of expenditure, and then what your members of parliament represented should actually be doing as well. We're continuing with our conversation around the week in review, and it seems that we're stuck on this, what happened last night. We'll be back with more after this. Keep it here.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Traffic update brought to you by Chloride Oxide.
It's getting busier into the city this morning, and there is traffic still coming off of the Thika Superhighway today, and it's clogged up as you get towards the Pangani underpass and then out towards Muranga Road, so that's busy there. And also seeing traffic then getting around to Globe Cinema, that roundabout that will take you towards Moi Avenue and then on to Kirinyaga Road, so that's really busy as well. Look at Ring Road Westlands, doesn't look too fun right about now. Quite some traffic there, in and outbound actually. And then as you get onto James Gishuru, from that back route, it is very busy. Crossing over towards the Red Hill Link Road, and it's chock-a-blocked already. Traffic crossing over Lower Kabete, and then trying to find its way through towards Limuru Road today. United Nations Avenue is already creeping and crawling through to find its way towards Limuru Road as well. So yes, we are in traffic hour, and it's already really busy. Ngong Road also starting to pile up, and yes, it looks like we'll be able to make our way through it. And there's also outbound traffic of the city completely this morning. Let's talk and keep things moving. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Traffic update was brought to you by Chloride Oxide. Wherever the road takes you these days, stay powered by Chloride Oxide. Get total peace of mind on the highway with the premium Exide battery range backed by a rock-solid 18-month manufacturer's warranty. Chloride Oxide, inside from Chloride Oxide.
So many forward here. Titles are on the line. Rivalries are at their peak. This is the final stretch where legends rise and champions are made. From the Saudi League to the Bundesliga and La Liga. Recharge your monthly subscription today to feel the pressure, feel the passion, feel the game. Every pass, every goal, every moment matters. Don't miss a moment. Renew your subscription and stay in the game. To renew your subscription, dial *858# for self-service or get in touch with our call center on 0719 077 077 for customer care. Buy a StarTimes decoder at any of our dealer shops countrywide. Download the StarTimes On app to enjoy all your favorite shows and stream live channels on the move. StarTimes, enjoy digital life. Sebastian Allaire.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.9 SpiceFM, Nairobi.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Conversations continue this morning. Okay, so, Joe, frame that question. So let's look into it again.
Yeah, we're saying that one of the metrics we look at is the cost of living.
Yes.
We keep talking about the GDP, talk about inflation and the debt ratio. If the cost of living is high, if we are seeking to borrow again more than 1.1 trillion in this financial year, how do we turn around and say that yes, indeed, we have a proper finance bill? And yet, every day Kenyans are saying, one, the cost of living is unbearable, which we all agree. Everything has gone up. He said he's a farmer. You ask anybody, the cost of eggs is almost 20 bob, a basic food item. Yes. So how do we say that yes, this government is serving the interest of people? It's not about the government getting its way because the finance bill was passed. It is about the impact. There is what we call the expected value that you get from a legislation. Are you satisfied here today that this regime, this administration, is serving the interest of Kenya?
Let me answer that in a very nice, simple way. When we did not have a budget in 2024-2025, we lost 2 trillion in borrowing because we used what are they called, supplementaries all the way for the full financial year. Mm-hmm. We lost 2 trillion, so it was not making any sense to me. What we were trying to save is actually we lost double what we are actually going to borrow in this fiscal year. Come now 2026-2027 budget. Mm-hmm. So when we look at the finance bill, more of a government initiated process, we lose it because me and you are government. The debt burden we have in this country, which I want us to also be practical, is not going anywhere, and which affects even our international trade in terms of if we do not get some of the obligations right, it means even our own businesses. For instance, we have seen the MPs put tax on imported sugars and all that to protect our farmers. Some of the commodities like sugar are something we are not self-sufficient in. So is fuel, and so is even rice. The normal rice we get from where cannot feed our electorate, or rather cannot feed our country as it is. So we do a lot of importations that may be hindered or may have more implications to our common day meal on the table. So that the budget, and I see in the budget process that has come in 2026, government actually lost a lot in terms of the proposals from Treasury, from the finance docket. They lost to, for instance, even the KRA trying to collect some of the pending bills through the tribunals, and all MPs actually, the nays had the day. So government lost in terms of its ways of making money to sort out some of the debt issues.
Well, I hear that. However, it becomes difficult to have a conversation where it's not very factual. The president said in 2024 that we had sugar surplus in terms of production. Today, yes. Yeah. So there was no shortage in terms, and they even cancelled the allocation for importation. Yes. That's a fact. Today, we have farmers from who are saying they have rice that they have not been able to offload to the market, and yet we are still a net importer of rice. So these facts they also factor in. And you're talking about the cost of living. If we were self-sufficiently producing for ourselves, some of these products would go down. But that's beside the point, because here we're looking at the financial policy. This bill is going to play out for the next 12 months. Yes. Today, they have passed a supplementary budget of 18 billion. Money they need to mop up in the next 2 weeks before they start spending the next load. So, from where you stand, government is you and I, it is true. So, government did not lose anything. The proposals were just ploys to try and get away with the bare minimum. The question is this: are we as Kenyans today? Because that, in my opinion, the most incompetent National Assembly we've had so far has failed us. When half of the MPs do not show up to participate, and we have sent them there to be our representatives, when they do not show up to participate on a matter that is going to affect how much you pay for fuel, how much you pay for food, how much you pay for school fees, how much capitation you're going to get, how much goes to each and every expenditure of our taxes, how can we sit down and say that the country has a finance bill that is fit for Kenyans?
The repercussions, I think what they are fearing is, my small brother, the repercussions, I think what most of them are fearing is the 2024-2025 scenario where most actually even lost their houses, or that some were burnt down and all that. And also being very close to an election, I think the abstinence was very loud, having cited what happened then. So
and does that not worry you?
It basically worries me, but again, also as an electorate, we have been very harsh at some point on them in terms of their legislation and all that, and what they do. So representation in this country now is has to change in one way or the other, because I think they have, and basically government has to come up with a way of getting the locals, the mwananchi, on the table for them to do any discussion, because now it is not business as usual.
So come on. Yes, it is not business as usual. And Jimmy says we may not have much to do about the debt, but true, we can stop paying the odious debt. Money that we don't know, that it did not come to a consolidated fund, we can stop paying immediately as soon as today. And we will see this budget reduce. Kamanya, what do you think about the representatives not showing up?
Well, to me, and I might have a contrary opinion with everyone, I think MPs should be scrapped off. And I'm saying this, I'm saying this as a future aspiring member of parliament for Limuru constituency. I think those other responsibilities of a member of parliament should be scrapped off, and the members of parliament should be left with one role: legislate. This money that we give them, as CDF, do go do that, they should be given one role: represent and legislate, because that is the core. And we should also revisit, my brother was talking about the constitution, we should also revisit the requirements of electing a member of parliament. Right now the constitution says that only a member of parliament only needs a birth certificate to be a member of parliament, and maybe class 8 certificate. But is that really what we want as a government? You know, also we have, we as electorates, we bring ourselves these problems. We elect people who are dunderheads, people who have money, people who steal money, and when they go to bring back, to profit themselves, we are here crying. Mm-hmm. That is one for the electorates. And number two, so they should be dealt with going forward, because we are already here in this mess. KRA is not collecting enough Yekwa, because the government and the people and the government, William Ruto, is making it hard for KRA to collect more tax on Kenyans. This guy is imposing bills and taxes that are heinous to people to do business. Companies have closed down. Since William Ruto came to power, we have over 1,000 companies that have closed down. So many businesses, so many people have been rendered unemployed because of this regime. Mm-hmm. That is why KRA is, if you want to collect more, grow the tax base, widen and broaden the tax base, so that will collect kidogo mingi itatoshekana. But now, even now, when you start taxing M-Pesa, you start taxing mayai, meat. Even meat, I saw even meat is being taxed. When you tax food that is being eaten by the cow, by the goats, you have taxed it, my friend. So you're making it even a much more expensive. You're making meat to be a luxury, my brother. No. So let me finish. Yeah. So
you're taxing
number two,
the cow.
You're taxing even the cow, my friend. Yeah. You've asked him why our finance be still the same. We don't grow. We have been having finance bill back forth. We lost 2 trillion. Then Jimmy Wanjigi is saying that we should scrap off these debts, that we no longer know what they did for us. I'm telling you, the problem in this country is corruption. Is thieves. William Ruto, even I'm saying even here, and I hope we will touch on this. These daylight thefts you know.
I mean,
what we're having here, you know. But anyway,
come on.
Yes.
We talk about wastage in the country because we're saying our revenue, Kenya does not have a revenue problem. We have an expenditure problem. And why is that? Because of wastage and corruption that we see every day. You ask how we lose 2 trillion. It has not been objected that we lose around 3 billion shillings a day. If you do your math in a year, that's around 1 trillion shillings that just gets lost through wastage and corruption, right? And now you have to read that together with the fact that today with all the trillions, 12 trillion shillings, almost 13 trillion shillings in terms of debt. And we always ask the question, if we sit today, where is 13 trillion shillings in the country that is Kenya, where you and I can say we see value for money? Odious debt, what can we do about it? Stop paying, because the law is clear on how we borrow and what that money ought to do. If you borrow money to construct road that goes from Gikwa to Kamau Road, and you use that money to pay teachers, that is against the law. Kenyans should not pay for money that was borrowed to do a specific project and it did not do that. The individuals who misused that money should pay for that. And that goes way back to whoever broke the law at that point. Is it a concern today that even in this budget, all you're doing is perpetuating and perpetrating illegality over and over again?
And it is true. But now the problem with our president today and the heinous debts that we are having and culminating the finance bill and then going down to trickling down to the fuel prices is because we tend to I wanted to say, let me do say language. I'm looking for a better word. It's because we are able to tunabembeleza sana mzungu. For lack of a better word, I wanted to say licking these people. These people, we tend to bembeleza IMF too much. We tend to bembeleza US, China too much. And even we saw and they do not care about us. You saw in a photo the other day, the president was in a line where he was greeting the G7, but nobody cared about him. He was just standing there with the hand. Nobody wanted to talk to him, and I felt bad. I was saddened by that scenario, that our president, nobody cares about him, nobody cares about what he does. They just want to use him and for him to use us, and we are the ones who are going to feel the pain, the pinch. If now the problem is he cannot stop paying these debts because he is in bed with these people. He is talking with these people day and night, and they are having deals. The problem with our president is he is running this company, like this country, like a company. He is doing what he himself benefits from.
Is that propaganda?
No, it's not.
Can you substantiate on that?
How do we know that this is actually a case that there can be perception, but then we need to be careful about what we're saying is actually happening on those lines based on what we see? You know, some of the things that we see as perception is not always the case. So we just have to maybe temper that with some facts that that's what's happening. It's clear that some of the policies that financial institutions place on countries can be accepted or they can be refused. And that then becomes the purview of that particular country to then do that. The question here that I would like to ask as we look into some of these things that have happened over the week is whether the people take the front line in terms of representation in this country. Are the things that are being done, whether they are being done on a local level or an international level, representative of the people? Can we see that really happening? Besides your political aspirations, beside your political affiliation, if we look at what the Constitution says and the people that are supposed to be protected, represented, and legislated for and over, can we see that people actually take the number one spot?
No.
They don't.
100% no.
So the members of parliament should be scrapped off, like you saying.
You know, basically, I've looked at everything that has been happening in this country. For instance, I'll give a good example and not name names because of obvious issues. I am a member of the ruling coalition. And at some point, I really get agitated in terms of there's very small things that happen that really don't make sense to me in terms of representation. Because like the fuel demonstrations, we lost 12 lives. It only needed one government spokesman to come out, just tell the people, just talk to the people. It was a 10-minute meeting. 30-minute meeting would have saved 12 lives. Because so I think we don't come in as number one. We have never come in as number one in this country, and that is basically the problem we have. Not because of any political affiliation, but because I think that they have made a cocoon where it's their stomach first, then we come second, then we also come and handle the problem. People lose lives, then again they come and act as the good managers. We have members of parliament now who are supposed to be representing constituencies, who are basically garnering for gubernatorial, senatorial. They just lost the mark from the day they were elected. So as much as we try, my brother usually tries and portrays the president in a negative. I think the president has been trying to push people who are more sinister with their own motives. Because it
push them where?
Push them in terms of push them into his agenda. Because his agenda was not wrong for this country in any way.
His agenda was on promises. Housing, his agenda was on particular things that people are still complaining about today.
Yes, but basically it needs a lot of support and a lot of people who also take the back in terms of the practicability of what is happening. People who can go and sit down with the president and tell him, Your Excellency, we support you, but this is not what
But that does not happen.
It doesn't happen.
So that doesn't happen. So is the president then being hoodwinked into imagining that the people of the country are satisfied and they're not?
150%.
But the president is acting on a fallacy. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily a fallacy, but mis-facts.
That's what a fallacy is.
Missed facts.
Well, I do.
A fallacy is an outright lie.
No.
Yeah, a lie.
It's a 200 fact.
Yes.
That's a fallacy. Half true, half wrong. Yeah. Now, the truth is, I agree with you when you say it is not a people-centered regime.
Yeah. Not regime.
Well, even the representation.
It has never been, actually.
Fine. It has never been. It is not.
Yes.
And again, it takes us back to the finance bill. Where do we split the line and say, this far is not people-centered, but this side is people-centered? That is why people are saying, the likes of Kamau, that come next week, as they hold the commemoration, the June 24th, which I know you also agree we do not need to lose those lives, just like we did not need to lose lives during the fuel protest. You do agree those people need to be commemorated, but also we need to agree further that unless we are keen on how policies are formulated, we are going to continue paying the price. And regardless of our political affiliation, this is what I keep saying, that even a dictatorship is good and sweet and favorable to you as a person as long as it is in power. The moment you lose that grace, you start paying feeling the wrath. Yes. So we have to be, and that's why you have a constitution. We don't want to be at the mercy of a president pushing people to do the right thing. We have separation of powers. We have offices. We have National Assembly, executive, and judiciary. We, as the people who are holding the power, at least for once and for all, let's put aside our political differences and agree that our economy, this finance bill, is just going to be more pain for the people of Kenya for the next 12 months.
I do not think so. I beg to differ on that, because I'm trying to look at it, and I have tried explaining. There is the reality. There is good words about the finance bill and all that. I do not see what happened last year that will not happen this year. Let's look at the practicability. We should be looking at how are we losing money? How are we supposed to get this money to pay? How are we supposed to put across policies that guard us from any finance bill? Because a finance bill, basically, I think sometimes is good on paper. Because what usually happens by and large is after the finance bill, the supplementaries come and push in the same things you people refused. So I do not see it has been happening for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah, well, that's why you need to correct it.
Actually,
it's been wrong. I agree.
After the 2024 Maandamano, the same things people are propagating because of some misinformation. I know why in the finance bill less than 1 year after.
Come on.
You know, the president is being accused in this case, and you seem to to be so much agitated about these members of parliament not following what their master, but they're actually following what their master is doing. You say their master, you say that the president, you see, Gekwa, you are this way because of how your father brought up, and likely to some level you follow what your father used to do. The same way you were brought up.
No, he was a pastor.
Which is okay. You see,
I love my whiskey.
But you bring up your kids in a disciplined manner that you are brought up by your father.
Ask the question, B, because our time is going.
What I'm saying is the members of parliament here, they follow what their master is doing. Gekwa is asking how money is getting lost. Joe is saying here, we are a country that we do not follow policies. The same man here is not following policies. The policy of public procurement. You know, as a procurement practitioner and a procurement consultant, this award of this contract to this guy called
it has not been awarded. Can we be very clear? It has it been gazetted?
To IM Construction, which is headed there.
There is a contract.
Yes, but the CS was very, very...
Listen, there's a contract. What we're arguing about here is the amount, and it has not been made public. Those are some things that we're very clear on.
Until that's what I'm saying. Finalized through
the contract. Listen,
Public Procurement Regulatory Authority.
Our time is up.
Yes.
So we're not going to argue on that.
Yes.
In 10
what
seconds,
I'm
clear it up.
saying is, my brother, we need to have a president who is a follower of the Constitution. Mm-hmm. He has put the Constitution in his back pocket, and that is now he uses his head to control the nation. And it is on record. Even some advisors, they tell us William Ruto will advise you on how to advise him. So he needs to come out clearly for once, for heaven's sake, and try and lead this country with the Constitution, with the policies that are there.
Kamau Wambio is a Wiper NEC member, and Jimmy Gekwa is a youth and governance analyst. I mean, this could go on, but thank you both of you for being here. Yes. There are many things that come to the fore, and I think if something for us to go by this morning is that the people are not being represented,
100%.
And that is something that we should
100%.
take very seriously.
Yes.
It's 8:08. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the news. I'm Sheila Timur. Heated exchanges, interruptions, and repeated requests for clarification marked debate in the National Assembly during consideration of the Finance Bill 2026. National Assembly Minority Leader Junet Mohammed agreed with opponents of the bill on several issues, but sparked controversy after referring to MPs allied to former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua as the Wamunyoro group. The remark triggered protests from several lawmakers who termed the language inappropriate for parliamentary proceedings. The acting speaker directed Junet to withdraw the statement and apologize before continuing his contribution.
Let us, even in the Wamunyoro group. Wamunyoro group is here. Okay, go ahead. Nowadays, I am the caretaker. Go ahead. Chair, I am the caretaker of Wamunyoro group in Parliament. They sit behind me. His Honorable Junet. Order. The Honorable Wandeto and Co. Can we listen to the Honorable Wamboka? Is that fair? And can he withdraw and apologize, Honorable Speaker? The Honorable Junet, please go ahead. The first thing the truth is that Wamunyoro is a village in Kenya, found in Njeri County, and it has a house where people meet and discuss things. And the Honorable Wandeto, someone claims you belong to Wamunyoro. Do you or do you not? Mr. Chairman, I'm in Parliament by the virtue.
On a proposal to expand the powers of the KRA, Junet sided with the opposition, arguing that the provision could be used against ordinary Kenyans. He urged MPs to reject it, a position echoed by several lawmakers who warned that the measure could face legal challenges if enacted.
Chair, this is something that is going to kill the businesses of this country, and we must oppose it as a house. Chair, this one we must oppose. I put the question. The Honorable Mwenje wants to say something on it. Please allow him.
Because this clause, and I just want to address the majority leader on this. This is very easy to defeat in court. Why propose a clause that you know goes against our constitution? It will be very easy to defeat this provision. KRA cannot, it is not in the business of refunding. And how many times have you seen KRA refund money?
The debate also exposed divisions within the ODM party, with discussions centering on the Linda Mwananchi and Linda Ground factions. Junet dismissed criticism from MPs aligned to the groups, arguing that some had not fully reviewed amendments introduced in the Finance and National Planning Committee.
I've never seen such a punitive arrangement like what you are proposing here. You can fail to do these things not by intentionally. Whoever drafted this bill is not a Kenyan. He's not a Kenyan. He does not have Kenya at heart. Thank you.
The Honorable Junet, what is out of order now? Chair, I want to remind my colleague, Honorable Undo, it doesn't matter who drafts a bill. What matters is what we do in this house. That is what is important. And you know, he got lost of me to Mileta Bonainchi. I want him to come back. In fact, there's some serious indoctrination there. He's a very good doctor. Chair, we need to come back.
In another news, the government has paid 84% of claims submitted by public hospitals under the SHA, according to Health CS Aden Duale. Appearing before the Senate Health Committee, Duale said the payments have been made over the past year, with delays largely linked to inaccurate information submitted by some health facilities. He noted that all claims must be verified before payment is approved. Among the hospitals that received the highest payouts are Coast General Hospital and Nakuru County Referral Hospital, which together received about 2 billion shillings.
I can give the settlement rate generally of the whole country is about 84%. But for Mombasa is at 71%. So what people are saying out there, they are lying. We pay them. This week we are paying. Last month we paid 12.7 billion. The previous month we paid 16.3 billion. So when people don't want to serve Kenyans, they get an excuse. So let me say it. Coast General Hospital and Nakuru General Hospital are two of the public health facilities in our country, which has received over 2 billion shillings in the last 18 months of SHA existence, and they're doing very well.
Duale also acknowledged that network outages continue to affect service delivery under SHA. However, he alleged that some hospital staff and administrators exploit the challenge to compel patients to make cash payments.
There are some areas that don't have networks, very areas in the country. Like yes, not the whole of Tharaka, part of Tharaka, yeah, where we neighbor. Where we neighbor. I also have some parts which are the same, Makweli the same. And we are working with Safaricom, and we are going to use Starlink to provide that. But we have some facilities that will tell you, oh, they want you to pay out of pocket. They will tell you the network is down, but there are a few areas which have got a problem of power. So we are talking to Kenya Minister for Energy to provide, and there are a few areas which have problem of network, which we are working with Safaricom and the other players to make sure that we get the Starlink.
His remarks come amid continued public complaints over delays and irregularities in SHA payments. And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
Traffic update brought to you by Chloride Oxide.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
We look at the utterances of leaders who are aligned to broad-based, who are initially in ODM. We thought they stand for something. Now they've been exposed.
Because we are a third world country, we are poor. And not because we don't have resources, but we have been robbed senseless.
Look at the wasteful expenditure. Look at how large government lives. And we've said this is something that can be controlled. It happens in many other countries.
Internally, we used to stand and tell you, boss, hii kitu ni mbaya. And you'd say, now he doesn't, let me tell you, you saw the other parliamentary group meeting. People went there, sat, listened, looked at him. There was no plenary, left.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
I am also a publicly elected official. Okay. My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante,
we will always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke
matters corruption, because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea today. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
10 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we get into the third hour of our conversations this morning to allow us then look into, okay, so meeting after meeting, we are told about the questions around money that is missing from the counties when the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate sits and starts to ask questions about where could money possibly have gone. But we never get the answers to that, do we, beyond the report? And that's the conversation that we will have this morning. But
yes,
power us up.
I want to power you up. Because remember, in 2026, the vehicles that we drive nowadays is called computers on wheels. Computers on wheels because you talk about your navigation, security features, and also comfort that come with that. That would therefore mean that you need the correct battery that will be able to not only just power your engine, but to power all the auxiliaries that come with it. So you live in Nairobi, you're going to give me location. You're going to Mtito Ande, right?
Yes.
But you're going to Mtito Ande, Bundus, or you're going to Guinea-Bissau. All you need to do is to activate the navigation, and you're able to leave your house all the way to Mtito Ande or in Guinea-Bissau, right? This is why chloride oxide is coming in to tell you we have been in the market for over 60 years. So Kenya, chloride oxide, 1963,
Twins.
same WhatsApp group, twins, right?
Yes.
So they're telling you through our experience, through continuous modernization and technology that we've put into a battery, you're able to power your vehicle and not stress about it, because the battery also comes with 18 months warranty. So you also dial a delivery of the battery. Dial a battery, someone comes and they're able to, first of all, tell you the battery you have, is it good for your vehicle? They install it. They do diagnostics. They set up, using the OBD sensor. They fix it and tell you now you're good to go to where? Mtito Ande or Guinea-Bissau.
I love it. Okay. It's great because that's how to power it up and get moving where you need to go. Be sure that the folks who've been here for 60 years know what they're talking about. The good Professor Gitile Naituli is here with us this morning, a fellow of the Kenya National Academy of Science, and joins us in the hot seat this morning. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
You've been here in Guinea-Bissau. That's where Dennis has actually taken us this week. So he seems to know the lay of the land. That's where our proverbs are from.
Daktari. So, people of Kenya called Kenyans.
Kenyans, yeah.
Uganda.
Yes.
Ugandans. Tanzania.
Tanzanians.
Guinea-Bissau.
That's a very good question. Guineans.
Yes. See? Guineans of Bissau, right?
Yes, they used to have the real nationalists, the real Pan-Africans called the Omega Gabro. I think it was from Guinea-Bissau.
Yes. And the people there are saying, because it is an archipelago, they have over 80 islands within the country that makes it unique the way it is. It is home to one of the largest mangrove forests, and that helps in dealing with climate change that we see, especially in the coastal areas. But they also have hippos that swim in salty water, not like us. We're used to River Tana or Lake Victoria. There's, you find it in salty water. Yes. But let's go to the proverb. The baobab does not grow in a day. The baobab does not grow in a day. How would you interpret it?
That is a beautiful proverb when you look at the Kenyan situation. Because what it tells you is about a leadership concept based on two parts. A hunter mentality and a farmer mentality. A farmer nurtures and takes time to get output. A hunter just takes. So baobab is going to have to take time to grow and become that big. And therefore, patience is required. Okay? Vigilance is required so that the young fellow is not stumbled underfoot before it grows. It's a perfect example for what we are doing in Kenya today because we are living for now. In fact, that's a perfect one for the topic you have this morning.
Indeed.
Because if baobab were to grow in a day, then we don't have to worry with the looting that is taking place. Because the country will still grow in one day.
In one day. Yes. Well said, Professor Sandisana, for the interpretation. I think I love the part where it is a farmer and hunter mentality.
Absolutely.
Choose your struggle. You see the difference here is you give a farmer a kg of maize, he gives you 90 kilogram of maize. The 90 kilogram won't come in 1 month or 2 months. Yes. Just like the baobab did not grow in one day. The hunter mentality, you just go and shoot the animal. You bring it down, then you share. That is why we are selling assets, like national assets, some of them very strategic, like pipeline, Kenya seed, because it's an animal we have brought down. So we must share it. You take the leg, the other one takes the arm, the other one... That is how it is. So that's a very appropriate proverb.
There's no single official figure for the amount of money that's missing in Kenya, because the Senate and the Auditor General, parliamentary committees rather, and the Auditor General usually report different categories of irregular expenditure. They talk about unaccounted for. They talk about unsupported expenditure, unauthorized expenditure, irregular expenditure, possible loss of public funds. Now, if you look at some of these numbers, it's crazy. The Public Accounts Committee of the Senate has been meeting. They've come up from a short recess. They've come back and some of the counties that they started to look into this week and the week before last. If we look at 2014 to 2023, cumulative, about 597.7 billion shillings is unaccounted for. Yani, you don't know where it went. Somewhere into the atmosphere. I don't know.
Please repeat that number again.
597.7 billion shillings. Okay? In 2016, an audit finding was that Eurobond proceeds that auditors said could not be fully accounted for of 215 billion. The Hustler Fund allocation flagged an unaccounted for in the 2022-2023 audit of 8 billion shillings. Notice we've not even done a million. We're in the billions here. KEMSA COVID-19 procurement losses identified in a special audit of 2.3 billion shillings. It goes on and on and on and on. Now, that's not even the money that we're talking about at the counties. If we look at the Public Account Committee of the Senate and what it's been doing, the questions that have been asked across board, only 3 counties, three out of 47 so far, have come up with what looks like an almost clean bill of health. But the others, there are some questions about where money goes. There are pending bills for completed projects. There's money that cannot be explained. There are Christmas trees for which Christmas is not every day of the year. That questions are being asked around where did this money go? But you never get an answer, and I guess that's our conversation today. Where does this money actually go?
You can't get an answer simply because the answer would be an admission of proper looting. But let's just look at the language you just used there on the on-data language. That language is not proper. The law requires the on-data to tell us whether the money was lawfully applied and whether it was effectively used, whether we got the value for money. The language you just use there does not answer those two questions. So the auditor, she has done a great job. She needs our appreciation as a country because she's telling us all this looting. So in the future, when we get a good Kenyan government, it's actually possible to follow this money and return it. So I want to say she's good, but she needs to stop using that language.
Okay.
We don't want to
Unsupported
be about
documentation.
an accountant for this. Because the business of the auditor is to tell us whether that money was lawful. If she didn't find evidence of proper use, simply state that the money was not lawfully used. The law was broken. The end of story. Not that there was not supported. This didn't have. No, that is a language of hiding. The other problem you have is the House. Is Parliament. You see, the stealing from Kenyans isn't deliberate. It's actually government policy that it must rob its people. Because because it's simply colonial. It's extracting.
Yes.
You understand? Have you asked yourself why is it that you see at least the Senate is on the ball. The Senate is looking for the accounts of last year, for example, this year. Meanwhile, Parliament is looking for accounts of 2017 today.
2027.
2017, the time itself has given a lot of evidence. People have died, others have moved on, others have retired, holding people to account 10 years after committing a financial crime. It's in difficulty. Now, do you think the Parliament doesn't know that? They know that. And that is why they don't touch this account until later years, because they need to hide the theft. That's why I'm saying it's a policy, is that the government as a whole has agreed that let's just rob these people. Because the Parliament, you see the problem before Parliament moves, then DCI won't move. The ethics also won't move, because there is something in the law called in double jeopardy. So you can't be treated to two trials for the same thing.
Yes.
So they would wait for Parliament recommendation. But Parliament won't sit until after 10 years to look at the accounts of some years.
Well,
okay?
Yes.
So Senate is doing well because it's looking at this account, and what they are telling us is theft, left, right, and center. Because nobody is protecting public assets, public property in this country. The purpose of government is twofold: to protect life and property. The property is not being protected. I don't know about life. I think life, you can say we have some degree of protection, even though they shoot us when we demonstrate.
Yes.
But at least there is a level. But the assets, they are for the taking.
And I hear you, Prof, when you say that the extractive, exploitative, and dominant nature of the system, the current system we are having, continues to play out since colonial times.
Yeah.
However, there was some hope that with the new constitution, we will be able to change that and tweak that to suit our own homegrown democracy, management, as you say, of our resources, property, and also guard our life. But we seem to have continued in the same spirit. The persons that we have in the office, they seem to have embodied the same spirit, the one you're saying of looting and stealing, where they continue to extract, exploit, and where they cannot dominate, they kill in terms of protests. And then we keep having these reports that have to be qualified at the very best of their performance on how our own resources, because the government is not a foreign entity. You and I create a government through our constitution. If we are not yet able to experience that relief, where is our hope?
The problem is us Kenyans. Remember, we really had a Kenyan government when this wonderful constitution did not exist. The Moi Kibaki government is the first Kenyan government in history of Kenya. The government which had a heart of Kenya. Because you see, a government is just like an individual. It has a mind and a consciousness. So the colonial government, consciousness was extractive. It was not in investment and in growth. Because they don't have to grow you, they are just going somewhere else. So, in a sense, the Kenyatta won. You couldn't also call that 100% extractive government because Kenyatta set up industrial production fairly well. But since then we moved, then we arrived at Kibaki. A purely Kenyan government concentrated on fixing this country, and it grew the economy tremendously. If you look at the World Bank report to anyone, the best. Now, 2013 was the opportunity to continue the Kibaki growth. And I think the only way that thing would have been continued was the election of Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. In that election of 2013. It was a mistake, a huge mistake, by the Kenyans themselves to have elected Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto in 2013. That is where we went wrong. Because Uhuru left the trajectory. He left the vision in 2013. He started borrowing allegedly as borrowed loans. But if you compare his loans and the Kibaki's, it's like his was being brought with gold, while Kibaki was borrowing with the silver. Okay. In other words, there was no serious exaggeration in the Kibaki loans. Tender exaggeration for tenders, but it is set in 2013. So the problem you're having now is basically the government, which was formed in 2013 and 2017 on steroids. That's the one now, which is operating now. Right. But the otherwise, that's where we lost it. At that time, I think those two fellows, because of their age and so on, and the fact that one of them had a history of fighting for good governance, they would have been careful to overly steal. Okay, assuming they still maybe steal, we don't know, but they would have been careful. They would have done it in moderation. So it was not in that in moderation. I mean, she has mentioned the COVID heist and all that. When people are dying, you are robbing them. You understand? If you look at, and I would like her to send me that data, I can use it in my research. Okay. So the Kenyans, they need to look at the history of people before electing them. Okay? And you know, I don't know if I tell you this. You see where I come from? We actually have an issue. We don't usually, and then during check, it does not give poor people leadership positions. Because there is a belief, cultural one, that poverty is not in your pocket, it's in your mind. So if you are desperately poor, even if we give this whole country, you'll never be satisfied. You continue stealing. So one of my selling points when I was campaigning for Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013 was that his father stole for him, so he would not steal. But that didn't happen. It didn't happen like that. But now you can see that the logic in Meru, you can see is running out, because, I mean, you can see it live being demonstrated. Because the people robbing you, they're not exactly poor. But they have no heart. You see what happens, what the Meru's cultural, they stress, is the ability for the leader to feel the pain of the people they are leading. Okay? Right. The theory is that when you are very miserably poor as you grow up, okay, and your father was also poor, that you developed a concept of survival, okay? And the concept of survival denies you something called empathy. So now you don't have that feeling. You can't be moved. You can't be moved by misery of another person. That empathy, once it goes, is a primary thing in leadership. Once you don't have that one, you are not properly human. Okay? Now, in your mind, life is a struggle. So you don't empathize with that when he's struggling, because that's what shouldn't be happening. That is what is normal. That is why next time somebody comes and tells you they didn't wear shoes, I don't know, they were like this, please run from that person.
And Prof, you've just set the stage in what example means to any other person. And here then I look at both levels of governance. You look at the national government and how it's running its affairs. You look at the corruption cases, wastage that we see in billions every other day. And one says, if you have set the example, the counties will just do the very same thing, because why change? Why would we do different if the stage is set up there? Yeah. Because you talk about Mwai Kibaki. And when Mwai Kibaki got in and said, you know what, kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea, right? There was a point where Kenyans were arresting police officers who were corrupt on the road, citizens who were arresting. It is an example that was set at the top. Are we looking at the counties are misbehaving because they see if the big man is misbehaving at the top, then why should I care?
Exactly. I mean, once the counties are looking at the national government, the only way you can finish corruption in any country is getting a president who is absolutely, totally moral and completely non-corrupt. When that happens, the corruption will finish the same day. This is the example you are giving with the Kibaki when he took power. Okay? So the example is set at the top, basically. And they continue. But also, when we promulgated this constitution, when it was being meant, we forgot one thing also. The ability of the citizens to own their leaders to account had not matured. So what we should have done was to get the assemblies elected, but then get the governors recruited by the Public Service Commission, confirmed by Parliament, and appointed by the President. So that down there, you get, say, if it's Mero, for example, you have a governor from Nyanza, or you have a governor from Turkana, or a governor from anywhere else, Meru. But now when we localize the election of the governors, the clan system come to play now. It's not tribe anymore because the tribe is bigger, so it's the clan. So you still, your clan will still protect you. Just like the tribe protects the president at the top. Okay, so we exchange the clan for the tribe down there. That is the mistake we also made. We ought to have only to have a governor being supervised by an elected assembly for at least 5 elections. That is 25 years. Then we mature enough to protect ourselves. Because you see, the Central Kenya we love to complain about because of primitive injustices. One reason why it's better than the rest of the country is because those fellows, they hold you accountable for your performance. And in fact, the one reason why they were the first one to start opposing President Ruto is got nothing, it's not personal. They just look at performance. If you are not performing, they are not your friend. This is why you can't have live MPs in Mount Kenya, in the Kikuyu part of Mount Kenya. Let's not put the rest there. Because in Meru, the MPs who are 3 term and they have done nothing. But in the Kikuyu land, if you get an MP getting a second term, go and see what they have done. They have done a fantastic job with the little resources which they have. So for the country, it ought to be the same. Now, these governors, the rest of the Kenya, they are not be able to be on into account. In fact, the governors who are performing, you can count them. Kibwana, maybe Oparanya, Kangata in the Central Kenya ones, especially the ones in the Kikuyu part of Mount Kenya region. Those have performed, all of them. Because those fellows, when the money comes from Nairobi, they know it is their money. They supervise it. In other places, like in northern Kenya, the money goes there, then it's routed to Nairobi, to build malls, to build apartments. It's not even in building the place. The same thing with the money. You know, the money going to Turkana or Mandera is more than the money going to Kiambu. But look what Kiambu governor has done with those money. The hospitals he has built within the last 4. If the national government you act like Wamatangi, today we would be begging Ruto, please to stay for another half.
Well, I think Joe Kamanya might say something else, but let's take a break on that. Because one pertinent question here, Prof, is that why then is it so difficult to punish this terrible behavior? That when in other jurisdictions there is even a whiff of some, untoward behavior, you step aside. for investigations to continue to carry on, and then something happens thereafter. If billions of shillings, hundreds of billions of shillings are missing, and there's no answer to that question, there's a problem. Let's take a break and come back and look and see if we can get the answers. It's 27 minutes to 9. We continue after this.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
Traffic update brought to you by Chloride Oxide.
It's busy this morning, coming off Rilo Dingaway, heading towards that junction with Ngong Road. And so they can get into the city with a little bit of traffic. And then also that traffic still continues coming off of the Thika Superhighway. But look at Kiambu Road this morning. It's an absolute mess, in and outbound traffic. But what it probably is that folks have turned 3 lanes into 6. So it's crazy as you then try to get back onto the Thika Superhighway and then into the city right around Muthaiga Square. All right, but also busy on Limuru Road today, coming off of United Nations Avenue. That's very busy as well. And we also see traffic then also spawning off of Lower Kabete. Spring Valley also very, very busy this morning. James Kishiro crossing over to the Red Hill Link Road and then out onto Waiaki Way and then into the city is also busy. We're still in traffic hour, folks. Let's keep things moving. SpiceFM, KEONX, hashtag the Situation Room.
Traffic update was brought to you by Chloride Oxide. Wherever the road takes you these days, stay powered by Chloride Oxide. Get total peace of mind on the highway with the premium Exide battery range backed by a rock-solid 18-month manufacturer's warranty. Chloride Oxide. Inside from Chloride Oxide.
Online, mobile, and on radio. Twitter at SpiceFM KE. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Our conversations continue this morning with Prof. Naituli, and I wonder, that I look at these amounts of money that have been unaccounted for. You said that unlawfully misused. It's a lot of money.
It's huge.
Just the money that is missing is enough to sort out a lot of these pain points that people are crying about today, for which you have to have a finance bill that brings in extra money. The money that is missing, the money that has been stolen, the money that has been inappropriately used is enough to balance out quite a number of sectors for which are pain points today. And if we are not bothered by that, then I don't know. But why is it so difficult to interrogate, investigate, and or prosecute on some of these matters? Why?
Well, one, we have normalized theft. We have normalized corruption. And the part of that normalization also, we have to look at our culture. Our culture, some of us, is really bad. Because it tells you that the only stealing, if you steal from your tribe, then you have stolen. If you steal from Kenyans, you took. You know, there's two different things here. Now, that culture is intendedly, and that culture is mainly among the Normans. I'm talking like that because I'm one of those Normans. I'm one of those people who culturally, in Meru, theft is considered only if you stole from a Meru. If you took from anyone else, you just took. Okay? Now, this is true for the other tribes, the Kalenjins, the Somalis. That's why they don't bother. When they steal, they don't feel anything. Now, the country has normalized this. And also our ignorance in the sense that not tying our suffering to the looting. Okay, you see this Mutanu syndrome thing. But he's not your person. He's not sharing with you. He's only stealing for himself and his children. Okay? You are suffering together with us. Now, when this gets out, when we realize that when the public resources are stolen or misused, And then we try to think what else can it do, because if you look at this report of the controller of budget, he said, for example, the state has used 1.3 billion just in traveling in 9 months. And then when you try to see how many hospitals can that money build, how much medicine can that money buy, how many schools or children can that money feed, then you begin realizing, wait a minute, why are we allowing this to happen? But we don't do those comparisons. So we're kind of comfortable in our suffering. That's, we need to introduce some discomfort in this suffering, and we need to realize that it is bad policy. It is people without a heart, because unfortunately for us, just take a look at the politicians even when they are speaking. What they say is not connected to their body. Look at their body language. Okay? They are mechanical. They don't have a soul.
So what do we do to this suspension of the constitution? Because basically what I hear you say is that we have suspended our constitution. We are not upholding the rule of law. Because the rule of law provides that resources are raised by us Kenyans. We have provisions on allocation. This is how resources ought to be utilized. When we keep on getting reports, money was lost, that was not accounted for, cannot be found, it begs for questions on at what point, or maybe from your rating, have we as Kenyans, from the voter to the person who is nominated, appointed, elected, are we cognizant with the fact that we are not led by the goodwill of our heart or the values from our culture where we come from, but by this one document we call the Constitution? This is the standardization that we have set. Are we cognizant, or how far are we from the mark?
I think the awakening is there to the fact that the Constitution is not being followed, because clearly it is not. How many supplementary budget, for example, do you have? The Constitution, it says how supplementary is supposed to come. The law is very clear.
Correct.
That those are unforeseen. You can't just come spring another budget because you have finished what I gave you. You only came if what has happened could not be predicted when you are making them, and they cannot be more than 10%, I think, of the original. But that has been thrown through the window. And now I'm saying there is awakening again. Just remember the Gen Z demonstrations of 2024.
Right.
They were asking for 4 things. They were asking for good governance. They were asking for integrity in management of public affairs. They were asking for transparency and accountability.
Right.
That is constitutional. That is Article 10 is about Article 2C. Okay? Now, when the young people can come in those numbers asking for this 4, it means the country is not lost. It means we are going towards recovering Kenya.
Right.
But of course, it won't be a journey. It's not going to be easy, because the people benefiting from the chaos, from failure to follow the law, from failure to implement the Constitution, those people are not going to allow that to come out easily, because unfortunately for Kenya, we are not known for producing good people. I mean...
in what sense?
People like NJM Karaoke, for example, are people who really deeply felt. For you told us the policies you are perpetuating will produce 10 million in beggars and only 10 millionaires.
Correct.
And that is what has happened. So we don't produce people like that. We don't produce Amiga Cabros. We don't produce Mandelas. We don't produce Njeri. We don't produce people with a heart who are willing, like that Ethiopian doctor. I don't know if you saw some story last week in the social media, wonderful one. The doctor devoted himself to serving the people. So even when other people felt that they needed to help him and bring in donations, he uses the money to buy the best equipment to serve his patients. We are not able to produce a Kenyan.
Is there hope?
Like that.
But when you put it that way, Prof, you're painting a very dark picture.
I know, I know it is.
In 56 weeks, we are going to the ballot.
The election, yes. I know there is a hope, because at least you couldn't get those young people to make those demands. That's the first time after the war liberation, when Kimathi and others give their lives for the country. The next one to hear something coming is sensible was not in the second liberation, was actually in the Gen Z. demonstration. That's when you hear somebody talking about structural. Fixing something which is structurally wrong. So that means we are not totally doomed.
Okay.
But we need to appreciate that, for example, the next election is consequential. If we don't get that one right, then I think we are done.
Now, so Prof, when we look at where we find ourselves as Kenyans, so there is the political class where we've seen all the bad manners, if one would call that have happened over time. And we as a people would as well need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we have played part in that. Why? Because like you said, when you take from Ameru, that is stealing. When you steal from someone else, that is culture. You get it? So with that, then, we have seen individuals who, number one, have been flagged out to be corrupt. They've gone through the justice system, but what do we say? Nimtuetu. We vote those people into office despite having a record that suggests they should not be at the ballot anyway. You look at someone who served time, went to jail, they were found guilty by the court. What did we do as Wananchi? Voted them back in. And for some weird reason, we expect magic or somersault would happen, and those people would be able to represent as well. Is it time that, even as Wananchi, as we say, we need to fix the structural problems that exist? Perhaps the biggest structure that needs to be fixed is us in playing role in oversight, electing good leaders, and ensuring that the law is respected from the word go.
Precisely. And by what you are saying, you are touching on another problem. Big one. The Bible. The Christian religion. The Christian religion, by emphasizing that you can actually be forgiven and you can turn yourself into a good person by merely being saved and all that, is what leads the Kenyan masses to actually accommodate people who have been to jail, people who have been accused of horrible crimes against humanity. Because you see, the Kenyans are naturally religious. And when they see the Bible, for example, they can see that Moses was called into leadership even though he had demanded somebody. So God can use you, regardless of your history. It's a very dangerous philosophy. That is the philosophy which has created the problem we're having. Traditionally in our Africanness, we never forgive a crime against people. You atone for it. We made your entire community pay for that crime. Then we forgive you after you have atoned. Okay? Now here, we can just forgive you by lifting the Bible. Okay? And they're saying that now I'm a Christian and therefore you don't even have to confess. The Bible itself says you need to confess before you are forgiven. But sometimes all you need to go to the church with the Bible. You don't even have to confess and donate money. Okay? And they will embrace you. And all your sins are forgiven. And then we give you responsibility. Then you go there and forget the Bible and mess us up. Okay? Because I have a very strong feeling that even when some Kenyan is elected president, we may need to swear them with the oath from their tribe. where they come from. Because there's the Bible, they lift it, they swear it's not connected to them. The next day they put it down, they even forget they took it. But traditionally you can't forget the oath. You see at home there, people commit crimes in Meru, they go to court, they lift the Bible, they swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, sorrow mingon, they put it down. They are released because they win the case. When they come there, you call them to the Njeri check now. Okay? You just call them, you call the Njeri with the goat or bamboo. They come. When they come, you take a stake, which everybody is stepping on a stake. And then you select them 7 men. 7 is a band in number. They escort you to an old pot in a bush. It's broken. It's very old. You tell them now. You see, there will be no witnesses. You will be your own witness. So you put that stake there in that pot. Okay? And as you put, you are putting your entire, you yourself, and anybody related to you is being put. Unasema hapana, I can't do that. I didn't it. So now you confess. Now the punishment is prescribed. Now why are you doing that? Because you are connected to that culture. Because the Bible is foreign. You are not connected to it. You don't feel anything about it. You merely use it. Now, who is stealing in Kenya? All this corruption, all those in billions she is talking about. Who is taking? Christians. Do you understand? Because 85% of the thieves have to be Christians in Kenya. Because the other religions is only 15%. The trouble we have in this country is the religion is not connected to us. Religion is about doing good to the other human being. It's about serving community, society. It's about, and that's what it is, in giving yourself, when you give yourself to people, you have given yourself to God. We don't do that because what we're having is a foreign religion that is not connected to us. That is the other problem. That is why we make the mistakes. Because you listen to them, they go to a political rally. The salutation is one as if you were. Do you understand? They don't even believe in it. They don't believe. They are just using it as a slogan. You know, praise the Lord. To the politician, it's a slogan.
It's a way to hype the masses.
It's a way to hype the masses. And then God is also having a problem punishing them because you can only be punished by something you believe in. when you don't believe it, you can't. When the Mzungu came here, we gave him those areas where if the African is settled there, it will kill you. Did they kill the Mzungu?
No.
We took them in areas which are abandoned where we used to bury people and die without children. You know, we have a name. Some people call the NG, the people. You know, there was a system. Now, where those people are taken, the bad ones in society, the one who have actually gone to hell, because you can't mention them. When the Mzungu came, we sent go and settle there, so he can die in 3-4 days. Then the Mzungu survived there because the Mzungu does not believe in your culture. So that is why Christianity is not European.
So, I mean, I do agree. Religion, both, or as many as they are, they are all foreign policies, like any other that we try to employ in our system. It does not work for us. But conversation for another day. However, I want us to refocus on the funds from the counties, because you look at the new dispensation we have. This is the 14th year, you would say, or 13th, or maybe the 12th financial year, however we look at it, since we devolved these functions. And it was opined that functions will be followed by resources.
Exactly.
Some counties had to start from scratch because they did not have even the administrative, structures. So they did all the setup, and they have been growing on and on and on. Allocation has been coming. We say they'll be getting at least 15% from the national government, or 35%. Whatever. The argument keeps on shifting. But the truth of the matter is that these counties have been growing. They have grown their own source revenue. Nairobi prides itself today on collecting around 13.8 billion. In the last financial year, between then and now, they have grown by almost $1 billion. Kiambu, you mentioned the governor, they have doubled since 2023 to now, from 2.8 to around 5.4 billion. You can go to Mombasa. You know, they have gone up by around almost 900 billion, thereabout. No, 900 million. But when you look at the value for money, you know, the expected value from all these resources, would you feel comfortable saying that indeed the people of Mombasa, Kiambu, Nairobi, Meru, Mandera are getting value for, one, their own on-source revenue? We have not even factored in the money they get from the national government. What will it take for people from Mandera to stop going to the dry rivers, scrap sand, looking for clean water? And yet, like this financial year, Mandera is going to receive 12.59 billion shillings. Last year, the financial year, they received 12.7 billion shillings. When will we match outcome with the resources that we dispense?
When we can hold our leaders accountable for the resources we give them. That is when we will match. And unfortunately, we are just not able to do that. In fact, I think even in devolving these resources was a mistake. money should have only been directed at development only, so that the recurrent expenditure the counties take care of it themselves. You see, if you look at the own county council, the salaries were different. For example, if you are in Meru, in Njeri, in Kiambu, you used to earn more money than Isiolo, than Mandera, than other areas, because you are paying with your own resources, with your own money. Other people's money will be misused. That is just how it is. It's a natural thing. So what is happening here, this money being pushed, is not helping anyone because it's considered under other people's money. Okay? So what we should have done was strictly limit resources in going to any county, whether it's in Nairobi, whether it's Kiambu, to development only. You go and identify an hospital or around, we come and build it. If you want to employ now people, your brothers and your sisters, employ them, but you pay them with your own
source
resources. So all this money is going to recurrent. It's going to troubling. If you look at the report of the controller on budget, 17 billion this year has been used in troubling only. So we are enriching airlines, other people's hotels, because for you to get the per diem, you must leave Kenya to get that money. So in fact, we need to pass a law where you calculate the per diem for 5 years after we elect you, then we pay you. We give you we assume you have troubled, we pay you the money. We save on the money you are going to put in hotels. We save on air tickets. Do you understand that?
Right.
The same thing we may have to do also with the corruption. Because look here, at time they bought contaminated mafuta for some billions. So first they use our money to poison us. We can have a law where they can just take the money without poisoning us. You see, because this thing is
a better trade.
Yes, a trend. You see, what you do is the way we can protect ourselves from these people. So there is nothing that is going to change until the citizens are able to own these people to account at the ballot. Because that's the only place where you can really own them to account. You reject them uniformly at the ballot. Okay? That is the only place where this thing can work. It has worked. We have an example. This thing has worked in the Kikuyu region of the Mount Kenya. Okay? Not the other side. But in the Kikuyu region, it has worked. At one time, when I was a commissioner, I was talking to women in Njeri. You go to a church, it's nicely, neatly built. You go to CNDF office, you can't compare with anything on the other side. And then I asked them, well, how do you people do your thing? You know, they told me, Malim, when the money comes from Nairobi to here, is our money. We now supervise it. Until the other Kenyans learn how to supervise this money. And then when the fellow refuse to be supervised, they remove him. We will continue with this problem.
Wow. Now we have a supervisory agent in the name of Senate that is meant to oversight, the operations of the county and the resources. But you hear of governors saying, we are not going to show up in that committee, which should be an obligation of the law. So where does that leave us?
And I can tell you the Senate is doing a great job. I wish the National Assembly is working like the Senate. The National Assembly controls much more money, trillions, compared to the Senate. But the Senate is bringing those people. Why they are refusing is because the Senate is cashing them real time with theft. That is why they are refusing. Now, here it is the law. Invoke the law. But who is executing the law? The national government is the part of the executive. So if they don't go and arrest this governor, what the Senate is about to do? So what we need is respect for the law. We need to make this a country governed by rule of the law as the Constitution demands. If that happens, people will respect public resources. They will respect the procedures. They will respect the Senate. And even if there's a parliament which is not working, okay, because parliament is not working, you'll be better off without it. I mean, look here, yesterday, 187 absented themselves.
Yes.
So an important piece of legislation, like this budget, is passed by 127 MPs out of 500 something.
Out of 349.
Okay? Yeah, they are 349, yeah? So imagine 127, and these people absented themselves because they are afraid of voting no. Do you understand? Now, who are they afraid of? Because voting no means supporting the people who put them in power.
Yes.
But now they are afraid of offending someone else. And who is that is someone else?
Yeah.
So if the country now understands that, and when these people go to the next election, they are all removed.
Right.
Trust me, the next parliament will behave.
Yes.
It will know that it has a supervisor.
Right.
And the supervisor is taking stock of performance. But you see now when they will come and buy you with the money they have been bribed with, or the money they have been stealing, of course bribed with, because the parliament usually they can't steal much other than the CDF. But they can be given those 10 million to where they are given it to vote this way or the other way. When now they bribe you and you overlook the fact that they never served you, that is when we created our own, our own misery.
Wow.
It looks as the thing is that a grim picture is not just being painted, but it's being experienced here, and that there is a definite decision that needs to be made in terms of what happens next. You seem to be convinced that it's at the ballot that you decide how this is going to happen. There's no other way right now.
Actually, there is no other way, except, of course, there is other way. If you force people sufficiently believe that the ballot is not able to deliver, that is when now they go extra constitutional.
Right.
And then now that's how revolutions are cooked. Now, the Kenyan revolution also, you can only have it through public uprising. You can never have it through disciplined forces. Because the disciplined forces are not professionals. These are business people. You see, even to get your child employed to the army, you understand now you pay money.
Yes.
To get the police, you still pay. So now when you buy a job, you are not a professional. You just made a business deal.
Transaction.
It's a transaction. So you cannot you don't expect here to produce a Captain Sankara or Ibrahim Traore. That in Kenya you won't be expecting too much. It won't happen. Because we don't have professionals. Professionals love their country. Their whole heart, they want to grow their country. They want to see the country moving well. You have people who simply look at themselves and they want to use the office for very selfish gain. So you won't have. But if you people are pushed too far, now you can have what is called a national uprising.
Absolutely.
Which is now can replace all the policy. Politicians, and then you have an organically grown leadership. Now that the leadership is going to produce a Kimathi now. That leadership is going to produce an Ibrahim Traore. But as things stand now, the ballot is the only reasonable and legal way of holding the leaders to account. Because the other one is very dangerous. The other one in Awesa Gugeukia, even the originators
at that point. Indeed.
So the other one is dangerous. Now, what we are saying here is we should not allow these politicians to push us in that direction. We resist that direction, and we insist that the ballot must deliver.
Absolutely.
It must work and deliver change.
Professor Naituli, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Professor Naituli Gitile has been here with us this morning, and of course, going through this conversation. We look forward to the next. Asante Sana. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the news. I'm Sheila Tembur. The National Assembly Committee on Education will launch an inquiry into the rising cases of school fires, destruction of property and student unrest across the country. Committee Chairperson Julius Mellis said the probe aims to identify the root causes of the incidents and recommend measures to restore stability in learning institutions. The committee was informed that examination pressure, weak student-teacher relations, inadequate counseling services, overcrowding, poor boarding conditions and drug abuse are among the leading causes of unrest. Lawmakers also raised concerns over poor fire safety standards, social media influence, declining parental involvement and weakening societal values. The inquiry will involve consultation with parents, students, security agencies, religious leaders and education stakeholders. The committee has also directed its secretariat to compile previous reports on school unrest to guide the investigation and build on past recommendations. 4 judges have been cleared to contest the election for President of the Court of Appeal following the close of nominations. According to the IEBC, the candidates are Justices Patrick Kiage, Stephen Gatembu Kairu, Agnes Kaleke Murgor, and Lydia Awino Achode. The election will be held on Monday next week at a hotel in Nairobi. Judges unable to attend in person will be allowed to vote electronically provided they notify the IEBC in advance. The winner will succeed Justice Daniel Musinga, whose non-renewable 5-year term ended on 24th May. Leaders and residents of Kilgoris in Narok County have mourned the death of former Kilgoris MP Gideon Conchela, who passed away while receiving treatment at a Nairobi hospital. They have described him as a unifying leader, crediting him with promoting harmony among communities in the Transmara region and championing local development.
Ni Caroline Angea, nominated MCA katika Narok County Assembly. Nimefanya kazi na yeye miaka 20, nilimjua kama kiongozi kipafu, kiongozi mpenda amani, kiongozi ambaye alibadilisha maisha ya watu wengi kupitia elimu, kiongozi pia ambaye alipenda amani. Aliunganisha nyumba zote ambazo tulikuwa tunaishi Kilgoris constituency.
Jina ni Julius Nisiyeki. Tunakumbuka mheshimiwa Conchela sababu ya amani. Wakati Conchela hakukuwa, tulikuwa na vita Transmara mingi, lakini wakati Conchela ameingia tumepata amani.
Residents have also urged current leaders to emulate his leadership style, describing him as fair, inclusive and focused on service delivery.
Eneo letu la Transmara ilikuwa ni eneo ambalo tulikuwa tunalima mahindi, lakini kwa wakati kiongozi wetu mheshimiwa Conchela aliingia wa kiti ya MP, alibadilisha eneo letu, atuletea factory ya miwa ambayo amebadilisha maisha ya kila mmoja. So tumemshukuru sana kwa miaka 20 ambayo alifanya kazi.
Ni kitu mimi nakumbukia mheshimiwa Conchela, hasa pande wa Kilgoris tumekuwa na maendeleo, tumepata factory ya Transmara, tumepata Angata.
Ninaomba viongozi wale wako viongozi saa hii waige mfano wa marehemu Conchela, waongoze nchi vizuri, waongoze watu vyema na waonyeshe upendo bila kugawanya watu.
Conchela will be laid to rest tomorrow at his Olalui home in Kilgoris. And the Tana River County Assembly has held public hearings on the 2026-2027 budget estimates totaling 9.7 billion shillings. Of this, 6.4 billion shillings, representing 67%, is allocated to current expenditure, while 3.2 billion shillings or 32% will fund development projects. During the hearings, residents led by governance activist Omar Chalalu called for the inclusion and implementations of grassroots proposed projects, urging improvements to ensure the budget reflects community priorities.
Public taxation on the side of the executive, tuliona kama nyingi zao sisi zile ambazo wananchi walipendekeza. So tulisubmit memorandum na tunatarajia kama county assembly wataenda kuconsider zile memorandum na waenda kurekebisha. Lakini hii budget ambayo iko hapa yote, ukiangalia katika miradi ambayo imependekezwa mingi haiko katika mpangilio mkubwa ambao tunasema ni CIDP. Ingine haiko katika ADP ya huu mwaka ambao tunazungumzia 2026-2027.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembor.
Spice FM, Nairobi.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
every time he kept on saying he wants a vibrant opposition.
How does it make sense that public money has been used already and then they dare to sell it back to you? Why they're not giving them for free?
That's how broken we are. That's how broken we are.
They're being sent home now for fees. They're going to fail to prepare. We are compromising the futures of these children.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Parliament has got powers. Let me break it down. The National Assembly can initiate an impeachment of the president.
This same National Assembly.
Yes. That's our constitution.
Because this is just a continuation of the previous administration, which Ruto was part of. President Uhuru himself openly said that we're losing 2 billion daily. Daily. I mean, come on. Are you saying that we don't have a central bank?
If we look at Kenya, both public-private sector, that figure is ranging between 30 to 40%, right?
I think it's clear that the government of Kenya is living beyond its means.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Baba should disown these experts and they say they went there on the because he keep on telling us that these experts just you came from Dubai and you found them they're already at State House looking for jobs.
Government has to has to introduce austerity measures. It's something that this government and the previous ones have not been able to do in this country. We've talked about it so many times.
And really, I think you have seen the modus operandi of William Samoei Ruto since he came in. It's just showbiz.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 10 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we're getting into the final hour of the Situation Room for the week, for the day. I'm still waiting for you guys to tell me what Juneteenth is about.
What is it about, though?
See, I'm saying it's you to tell me.
Don't be true.
I'll tell you, don't worry, when we're almost getting to the end of it. So it's Juneteenth, but at the same time, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. This is June Kuna Mambo, but it's okay. We're going to get into part of that conversation. Power us through it first.
Yeah, because you're saying nowadays you're using what you call vehicles on a computer, right? That's simply because of the technology that has come over the years on the vehicles that we do drive. So you want to move, there is navigation. Talk about safety, there is eyesight technology that would help you not knock a person, not get into a collision. When somebody is approaching you, it will always alert you. You are from your amazing shopping, you're getting to your vehicle, it is an SUV, it is high up the ground. What do? You just need to press on a button and everything comes down. But what do you need for all that to happen? Is a battery, the right battery for the right vehicle. It's not just about getting into a shop or your dealer to buy a battery and say you're going to move. No, there's some services that the vehicle offers that you will miss if you do not have the right battery for that. But remember, we are telling you that Chloride Exide is here, has been in the game for over 60 years. You know, Chloride Exide Kenya, same WhatsApp group, because it has been around since 1963. So when you talk about dial a battery, there is a number that you need to call. And the number is 0719-080-000. Somebody is going to come to you with the right battery, diagnose the problem, tell you if the battery you had was good or not, and they go even further. They will reset all the systems to default so that you're able to exercise and enjoy everything that comes with your battery. So if you need your battery, you know where to go.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. And like we said earlier, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And that I think that it shouldn't just be a month.
Yes.
I think it should be an everyday conversation because truly we're dealing with issues that, in my opinion, are at pandemic proportions. Seriously. But we can talk about it and we can, commemorate it, we can celebrate it. And to be able to power that conversation with us this morning is Derek Banga, who is an emotional intelligence coach. We're looking into Men Don't Cry syndrome, men's mental health, well-being. Derek, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I am highly favored, blessed, and glad to be here.
Fantastic. Lovely to have you in the hot seat of the Situation Room this morning. As we're going to get into these conversations, some of them might be touch and go, some of them might be a little bit more touchy, but okay. We welcome you to the hot seat with the proverb, which Dennis gleans from a different African country every week. And he'll tell you where we are, and we'd love to hear your interpretation.
Today we are in Guinea-Bissau. You said the people of Guinea-Bissau are?
Guinea-Bissanian.
Yes, Guinea-Bissanians. But officially, they are the Guineans of Bissau.
The Guineans of Bissau origin.
Yes.
Okay.
And one thing that stands out is it's an archipelago, right? So it's a country with over 80 islands in it that makes it unique in terms of topography. It is also highly known for having huge mangrove forest that helps in cleaning the air, addressing issues to do with climate change, because ocean water, sea levels have been rising due to climate change. But they also have hippos that love salty water, not fresh water like we're used to them here in Kenya. But the proverb we get, the baobab does not grow in a day. The baobab does not grow in a day. How would you interpret that?
The baobab does not grow in a day. I think in an age and a generation, if I can be so bold, where we're looking at instant results. We want to grow our muscles instantly. We want our money and our car and all the trappings of the success of life instantly. That particular proverb speaks to putting in the hard work, the graft, putting in the hours. I come from a generation where we worked hard to achieve whatever modicum of success, whatever metric you choose to choose. So that is my interpretation of.
Well said. Hard work pays.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you choose that, because then we're also dealing with a sector or a subsection of the society in that same space who had to work so hard, but then also worked really hard to not show how they're really feeling on the inside. And that has contributed significantly to the syndrome that many men are going through. I don't even know that I can sit and talk about it, but I can only say the things that I see and observe. And that what men in our current space are saying, finally, that they are actually suffering from. Is there a pandemic at the moment? Because when we talk about men's mental health, is something wrong?
So first of all, I think that statement, men don't cry syndrome, is just another way of saying that men do not have the ability to express their emotions well, or to express their emotions, period. Crying, laughing, any sorts of these physical expressions are just a way of expressing some sort of an emotion that you're feeling. And for me, it's about being able to, first of all, understand that emotion, to process it, to manage it, and then to use it to help yourself and maybe to help the people around you. So for men crying, I honestly have no problem with that. It's just an expression. It's just a physical. In fact, if you look at how crying is expressed, it's the amygdala, which goes to the hypothalamus, which then, is connected to the tear ducts, and then your tears come out. Now, that might be because of grief, it might be because of loss, it might be because of any sort of reason. What is the important thing is then, what do you do after that physical expression? How do you then manage that thing? And is it connected to, for example, if it is connected to grief, then how do you go about processing that grief or processing that loss or whatever it is that is causing you to cry? I don't know if that... It's what happens after the crying that's important. It's not the crying itself. Now, we can talk about, okay, do we cry in front of our boss? Maybe not the best thing to do, but that depends on the type of, office culture or work culture we have. Do we cry in front of our partner? Some people might quibble and say maybe not. To me, that's not irrelevant, but it's not the important thing. The important thing is, what is that crying attached to? And is that something that is symptomatic of you not being able to process certain emotions that you're going through.
Yeah.
That's my opening salvo.
Yeah. Like, don't cry.
Oh, God. I don't know that we can handle that, but okay.
You see, Derek, we find ourselves coming from societies where mwanaume inafoka ichuma, right? When mwanaume not supposed to cry, not supposed to show emotions, and that has made men even at a point where you really need someone to talk to. You really want to talk to somebody, but you don't know how to go about it because it has not been inculcated in us for a very long time. You are in a relationship that is not working out, and by default, what men do is stay silent, just go quiet. You know, somebody who loved going out, playing football, basketball, being there with their significant other, all of a sudden, shush, because you don't know how to process or to communicate that which you have inside.
Okay.
How do men deal with that?
I'll give you that, Dennis. We grew up in a culture where perhaps we're not told how to manage our feelings, or we're told, don't cry, usilie, all of that sort of stuff. Fine. Some of these are tropes, because honestly, I grew up in this here, Kenya, Africa, if you will.
Yeah.
I was brought up in a home where I was allowed to express my emotions. I was never told, don't cry. But, you know, there's certainly that. And there's certainly cultures, communities where men crying, and people love that. And by the way, it's just crying. How come we don't raise the same red flags when men express anger? Nobody says, hey, you know what, Tulia, your anger is too much. It's the crying. Why is that?
Yeah.
Because is that considered too feminine? First of all, that measurement needs to go. It's not comparing men to women. To me, it's comparing men to boys. And now we are men. We compare ourselves to boys, not compare ourselves to women. Maybe that's a different conversation. To get back to your original point, yes, certainly there are many instances where men are told to not cry, not express their emotions. We clearly need to move from that. And we live in an age where we are now inundated with information about this topic amongst many topics to do with mental health. So it's not a question of we don't know. The world is our oyster. The democratization of information has made it clear your algorithm can just provide you with things on how to deal with mental health. So I find that there are avenues. There are ways that we are able to do this. There's information out there. You can study, you can listen to people. I talk about this. I talk to my clients about this. I practice this. So there are different ways of doing this. Perhaps what I can say is that in ending my thought process is that, yeah, as a parent, as a partner, as somebody, and when I say me, I'm talking about all of us as men, we can do a better job of helping these young men and these boys to become better at managing their emotions. And first of all, the first thing is self-awareness. Self-awareness is, why am I feeling this? What is this coming from? What is triggering it? So self-awareness is the door, if you will, to emotional expression. You've got to figure yourself out. Why am I feeling this thing? And not shut it or lock it away or step on it, or whatever you're using to manage it. So let's start with that. Self-awareness, where are these emotions coming from? Why am I feeling this way? And what do I need to do in order for me to feel better?
Well, now, I want to pick from the point of becoming better, or even trying to feel better. It is my opinion that one can only survive in a situation where they are skilled on it. If I throw you in a river, you don't know how to swim, chances are you're going to drown. So you will drown. You will drown. If I put you in a situation where you're not skilled to navigate, chances are you're going to struggle. And I'm looking at us men in that perspective, that we are in a situation called life. We need certain skill sets to navigate. For a long time, we have had agents of socialization. Family inculcates some values. As you said, you grew up in a family, so you pick up things on how to navigate. Then you go to school, another agent of socialization. Then you're exposed to religion, another greater agent of socialization. Then you had peers, the boys, the young, and all those age groupings. So we have picked up ways on how to deal with things, and then that's where the comparison would come up. We'd be told, okay, now you're not of age to be doing the things you've been doing. You need to graduate to other things. But today, we have a mega agent of socialization called the social media or the internet, whatever name we can use. And also our societies have grown or developed, if I may, such that our cultural settings have collapsed. Where young boys, young men used to be mentored. That is not very practical nowadays, even given our urban setups that are coming up. So we have lost some strongholds that would have held together the boy, because we're talking about men, as he grows to be a man. And then we have technology that has come to replace even parenting, you see young boys being left to watch cartoon for 2-3 hours instead of being outside playing, maybe because there is no a play field to go out to. You're living in an apartment. So there are all these factors, because one does not become a man in a day. It's a process of aging. There is a chronological aspect to it. So what I'm trying to ask, or rather to seek to understand, is that at what point do we agree that this person we are calling the modern man, before they talk about the mental health, that there are some societal letdowns that have prevailed over time, and now, hence the pandemic on the mental health, and hence now the need to seek interventions.
Okay. So, social media is pervasive, as you have rightly put it. And you have also asserted that it may be taking the place of perhaps shaping our values versus, say, the family. But the initial point that you made, or that was made in this conversation, was that we were brought up in families where we were told, don't cry. So here's what I'm saying. Yes, social media absolutely is playing a point in terms of us being able to manage these emotions, how we express them. In fact, there's a whole generation of people who, because you feel a little bit anxious today because of one thing, you then label yourself as somebody who's anxious. And there's all of these performative things going on the internet. So some of these things have to be taken with a grain of salt. When somebody comes there and says, I have mental health problems and all of that, a lot of this, particularly when it's played out on social media, as I said, is performative. But to your larger point, that same internet, which may have taken the place of parents, and if you're brought up with parents who helped you to become more emotional intelligent, or to manage your emotions, or to be more resilient, or to be more empathetic, or to, all of these wonderful things, good for you. But if the internet is now where you are getting your values from, that same internet is responsible, for example, for a philosophy called Stoicism, which is over 2,000 years old, but is practiced by millions of people across the world. There are more people practicing Stoicism today than were practicing it in the ancient Greek times or even in Roman times. So that same internet is responsible for the proliferation of a philosophy that helps people to manage their mental health, or to manage, their emotions and things like that. So it's a double-edged sword, is what I'm trying to say. Listen, I can't come here and tell you this is the answer, switch off the internet, like they're doing in the UK and they've done in Australia, for anybody who is under the age of 16. Maybe that is the right thing, because the algorithm there, or that you're watching, is giving you values that perhaps are not compatible with what we as a community want to be. But that same internet can also give you Ryan Holiday, who has the Daily Stoic, who talks about how to manage your emotions every day and gives you the tools to do this. Final point, and you talked about this. Friends, family, that's where we get our families from. Religion, this is where we get our values from. And if we can connect with those values and we practice being the highest or the best version of ourselves, and also not treat everything as the end of the world. A little bit anxious, a little bit angry, fine. Emotions are data. They're just telling us something that is going on. There may be a larger problem that is going on, so it's giving a signal, but that in no way labels one as mentally unhealthy. Is that a word? That's what I'm trying to say. So there's a little bit of nuance to this conversation. This conversation very often is approached by, oh, you know what? Man, there's a pandemic, there's a crisis, men don't know how to do this. This is how they're brought up, or the internet. I come from the point of view that it's a little bit more nuanced from that. And certainly, in terms of the work that I do, that is what I see.
It does. It suffices. And I like that because it's about becoming, it's about being. That there will be oscillation between highs and lows of emotions. And if I find myself in an extreme, momentarily, it does not mean I have a condition I've acquired. It could be I'm just trying to navigate through some situations in life. But then we live in a modern time whereby there is what you'd call over-psychiatrization or over-medicalization. That the performative you spoke about. If I just do a quick test on internet, then I find myself being put on anxiolytics, antidepressants, and all these other psychotropic medication to try and deal with my emotions. But I've learned along the way that there is no chemical solution to an emotional problem. Where do we bridge that gap? Because our men are running away to, let me not blanket it and call it psychiatric care, but they are seeking emotional health in areas that are rampant with chemical solutions. And there is no healing, in my opinion.
So I'm not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. There is certainly a place for therapy. Therapy plays a huge part in helping people with a whole range and malady of mental health issues and problems. As far as the over-medication is concerned, that is certainly a valid point. There may be doctors or professionals who are prescribing medicine. I went through a brief period of depression many moons ago when I was living in a country far, far away, and I was prescribed Xanax. And I took it for a short period of time. I think the after effects did not gel with me, and I stopped taking it. And then I found other ways of dealing with sort of that short period of depression that I was going through. Yes, there's certainly that. I think there's certainly therapy plays a part, an important part in helping people with mental health. And by the way, talking to someone, whether it's a therapist or your buddy or your partner or your running group, or the guys you go to the gym with, or you golf with, or whatever activity you take place, that certainly is important.
Whereas all of this is part of the conversation, the truth of the matter is that, an added truth to all of this is that there seems to be a need to deconstruct this feeling that if you do share how you're feeling as a man, that you've opened up an avenue for weakness. It's true. Or that I can find another way to deal with the thing. I can go, go have a drink, or I can go watch football, or I can go do something else. But for me, if I'm going to have a conversation with somebody, I've let down my guard and I'm being weak. It may not be admitted to, but it is there. How do you deconstruct that? And you know what? I can sound patronizing, but that how do we finally say to the man today that it is okay to actually have a conversation about it? Nobody is going to kill you. You will not go to jail. You will not be less of a man if you had a conversation.
There's certainly that. Men struggle with opening up. The conversations that men have in their caves when they're around their friends may be considered superficial in some sense. In other words, people don't dig deep into their emotions. But it's conversations like this that we're having today that allow men to understand that it is okay to talk about these things. I think one of the ways that we can encourage this is by not penalizing the fact that men can open up, creating so-called psychological safety in the environments. That psychological safety where you're not going to be victimized, penalized, sidelined because of the fact that you've brought up some serious or deep issue that is going on with yourself. What I like I think what I see today is men participating in so many different activities. I think maybe I grew up in a generation where the only way I bonded with my boys was in the local. But these days, there's golf, there's running clubs, there's the gym, there's you can go to art galleries, there are a whole range of activities.
It's bungalow wananchi.
Exactly. Bungalow wananchi.
Yeah.
So there are many activities that open that avenues where men can get together and say, hey, by the way, I'm feeling this way. Our responsibility, men, and by the way, it's a collective responsibility. It's for us to say, all right, what's going on? Is there work that needs to be done? Yes.
Can I?
What's going there?
Are we also? We are made up of our experiences. That the present self is a concert of what you've been through. It's like the baobab tree. That process, you've gone through it, right? And so, are we at the danger also because we still seem to be entrenching this thing in boys today? And I'll give you an example. It's a very painful one to hear, but a story comes out a couple of weeks ago about boys in secondary school that are being raped and or sodomized, not by anybody who's older than them, but by their colleagues, their mates in school. And this is a reality for a lot of boys, not just in boarding school either. And that's not even the thing. So if you can possibly put that aside, what boys are being told by one to the other is, you know what, just you man up. That's what they're told. You man up, you handle it, and you're gonna be okay. So you go to where the rugby is being played, where the football is going played, and you say this to another boy, and what does he say to you? He's like, yeah, it's normal, but you know what, we man up and it's going to be okay. And this is a narrative that when you come home, you tell your parents, yeah, you know, this is happening, ma, but you know, we'll get through it. That is one example of a thing that happens to somebody that they're not going to talk about. And these are boys who are growing up to be men. If that's the thing that you're entrenching at that age, I can only imagine the damage that's then being done by the time this boy becomes a man.
That is a horrific story. And I would hope that this is an exception and not the rule. One of the things, particularly when I speak to whether it's parents or even speaking to, you know, people who are like my corporate clients, I tell them, I think things like emotional intelligence and how to manage and handle your emotions should be taught in school from as young as primary school. There are some countries where it's already part of the curriculum. Countries like Denmark and Australia, they already taught resilience at the age of 7. They don't even need to go home to learn that. They're learning it in school, or how to be empathetic. Where we have this peer-to-peer thing, particularly in that young age, where you have maybe a 7 or an 8-year-old or preteen doing something unspeakably wicked to someone else and then telling them to keep quiet, that is something that I think this, whatever institution or school, needs to be able to stay on top of. But it's also the responsibility, I think, of parents at home and of caregivers to interrogate, and when I say interrogate, have these conversations with these young boys or these young men and ask them what is going on and allow them to speak and create that psychological safety that I was talking earlier, that you can say anything and there will not be untoward repercussions for you revealing, say something like that. But just talking about your feelings. Have that thing. And by the way, it goes both ways. We're having dinner time today, or we're in a, you know, some sort of family event. Put the phone away. Face this young man with your body language, your eye contact, you know, tone of voice, and ask them what is going on. And you'd be surprised. Some of these very sort of, shall I call them, basic ways of communicating, whether it's communicating with our peers or communicating with young people, can allow them to open up.
To actually open up.
Sorry, me up with that horrendous example.
I know, but I want to take a break. As you think about, hold on to that. Hold on to that because we'll lead. I know, it was a big one. Hold on to that because we'll lead to that when we come back. We'll take a quick break, take a look at what's going on with traffic, and then we'll come back. It's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're looking at actually deconstructing some of these things and saying, you know, with Derek Banga, that it's okay. Be back in a bit.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
Traffic update brought to you by Chloride Oxide.
It was a busy Friday, and we're seeing a little bit of that traffic now dissipating coming off the Thika Superhighway. Still pretty busy as you look into this whole Peponi and then out towards Limu Road. Lower Kabete seems to have cleared up now. There's some traffic still left on James Kishore over the drift as you then get to Wayaki Way, but we're doing good for most parts. There's traffic into the CBD. That's where most of it now is concentrated. Globe Cinema around there, and then just a little bit left on around that Pangani underpass area. So traffic hasn't been too terrible this morning. We're going to keep things moving this Friday, aren't we? Yes, we are. SpiceFM KE on X.
Traffic update was brought to you by Chloride Oxide. Wherever the road takes you these days, stay powered by Chloride Oxide. Get total peace of mind on the highway with the premium Oxide battery range backed by a rock-solid 18-month manufacturer's warranty. Chloride Oxide. Inside from Chloride Oxide.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
22 minutes to 10 o'clock. We continue our conversation. That's the question coming from you, Joe.
Yeah. You know, perhaps that's what we need to do, go back to the basics. Because you alluded to a very pivotal point, that communication. Because even the expression of our emotions is communication, is me communicating. This is the space I'm in, this, whether positive or negative. So how do we figure our way back to basics, or how do we, you know, invert that and go back to the future so that we are able to have the capacity as a person to feel that, yes, I can come out and say, you know what, yo, bro, uncle, cousin, whatever it is, this is where I am.
Conversations like this should be normalized. We shouldn't have to wait for Men's Mental Health Awareness Month for us to have a conversation about what's going on in our noggins, right? This is something that should be part of our daily lives, having that conversation. I talked about the stigmatization, whether it's at work or at home, for somebody opening up. That is something that we should be open to. And by the way, a lot of this also starts from, you talked about values, leadership, for example. So Marcus Aurelius, who is one of the mainstays of Stoicism, for example, 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man in the world, the emperor of Rome, he cried, okay? And because people saw that, they were able to say, if this can happen in a man who is so powerful, so rich, for him to be able to express these emotions, then perhaps it's okay for me to do that. And we've seen it in little pockets somewhere. I was watching the NBA Finals, for example, recently, and there is a player called Victor Wembanyama who wept at the end of, actually it was the end of beating Oklahoma. And you should have seen how people reacted online. You know, some people were all for it. Some people said, you know, he shouldn't be doing that. But at least it opened up that conversation. Can a grown man cry after a sporting event? So I think that's one of the ways that we can bring this to the basics, as you say.
Derek, you know, we live in a society where we say men should be able to have these conversations with themselves. They should be able to open up. I go back to a very basic level where ask many men out there, when's the last time you actually hugged your dad, per se? Do men hug each other? Many say, you know, that's a little bit creepy and whatever. But do men share the emotions truthfully so and say, I am going through a problem and I think we need to have this conversation? Because our story is told of how men would always meet at a local, enjoy a good time, but they were all going through a divorce process and no one spoke to each other about it until one man opened up, and then everybody started speaking about the same problem that they all had. We say women would meet in chamas, they would always talk around, they would always have these problems, they sort them out because they talk. Does the society, therefore, understand or have the idea on how to handle a man who's opening up, knowing very well that even men themselves perhaps don't know how to handle the emotions to share?
Yeah. That, what you've just said is about knowledge. And we can even call it wisdom.
Yeah.
That is something that should be disseminated widely.
Yeah.
And when I say that wisdom or that knowledge, making it okay for men to open up, not mask their feelings behind work, which is maybe hiding burnout or even something more pernicious. That sort of knowledge should be on the front page of this here newspaper. Every day there should be a story on men's mental health, certainly during the month of men's mental health. That's all I'm saying. So that it is, quote unquote, normalized. Number two, it is reframing the story we tell ourselves as men about opening up, speaking, talking about our feelings. Now, there are many ways to skin a cat. You can do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. There are many ways of arriving at that thing. But the thing is that that story, that attitude, if you will, should be reframed. And the story that we tell ourselves as men to opening up, to speaking about our feelings, even if it is just opening that door a crack so that we can put a foot in, and who knows, that might lead to a whole river gushing through where tunatoboa. Kila mtu ongea, say what's on your mind. And then maybe you cap it and say, Kisha maneno, we'll be back tomorrow. We've had enough, that sort of thing. Then there is, it's almost like a skill. It has to be practiced. It has to be done on a consistent basis. I can't just open up during the month of June and then, all right, wait till next year. And then, all right, well, how we do this opening up thing again? It's something that should be consistent. It's a skill. Learn to practice. I talked about self-awareness, naming your emotions. Ask any man, what are you feeling? They will come up with two things, good or bad.
Or a shrug
You've got to open up. How are you truly feeling? If you're feeling angry, is it irritability? Is it anxiousness? So that sort of thing, I think. And then let it become a habit.
So you speak to continuous self-assessment, continuous self-evaluation, and self-care, basically. And if men were to start doing that gradually, where I try to just keep tabs on how I'm doing, and hopefully I have this authentic connection with one or two, a few people, to an extent that I have some social support that I can turn to, both in high and low tides, then how will I look like? How will this emotionally healthy, emotionally balanced man look or be looking like? What are some of the traits or elements or characteristics you'll see and be like, okay, here there's some good self-care, here there's some self-awareness, here there's some structure. How does that look like?
Oh man, I can talk about that until the cows come home. What are the characteristics or the traits of an emotionally healthy, or Charlemagne the God, who's another radio presenter, talks about the mentally wealthy man, not the mentally healthy man. I think some characteristics are, do you find yourself arguing all the time? So it's the opposite of that. And again, I'll use myself as an example. Not that I'm the shining beacon. I certainly struggle every day. But I've come to a point in my life where there's certain things that I don't let them irritate me. The matatu cutting me off in traffic used to drive me into a frenzy. But now, the story I retell myself is actually to empathize with that matatu driver. He doesn't have a valid driver's license from a recognized driving school. That's why he drives like that. So God be with him, right? Mel Robbins talks about the let them theory. So those are some of the things. If you find yourself constantly anxious, irritated, annoyed by people, by the way, people are going to disappoint you. That's one thing. Marcus Aurelius, again, from Stoicism, I borrow from that because that's what I use in my emotional intelligence training, is that when you wake up every day, know that people are going to be obnoxious. They're going to be overbearing. They're going to be petulant, jealous, nasty. So prepare yourself. You cannot expect everybody to treat you the way you think you need to be treated fairly. So prepare yourself. There's that negative realization. So what I'm saying is that a lot of this involves just in terms of how you prepare yourself to deal with the world. Okay? There is ugliness in the world, but you can choose not to be implicated by it. And in fact, you can do the opposite. Be kind. Be unselfish. Be caring. Give them grace. And you can see that person. There's a glow. Do you have a glow? There's a glow about the person who is not bothered by the little things that annoy you.
Yeah.
There are some cities where the horn is constantly on. Beep, 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 beep. Yani,
Lagos.
Everything is annoying you.
Lagos.
And then there are some cities, there's no horn because people are just sawa. Pita tu. Kuna haraka.
Go.
It's okay. It's all good. So there we go.
Right. And I think that would help. How I wish we can normalize that. Now, I'm looking now, we flip it. So a person is well balanced, they're doing their work, they're working on themselves. But then they find themselves in a relationship that is not quite healthy.
God, I beg.
That is not supportive of your endeavors to become a better being. Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. I'm just clearing my throat.
And now we end up with these social conflicts in both intimate and mostly intimate relations. How do we then, because it's the same man who will be called, I'm not pointing at him for a reason, but I'm saying the same men who will be called narcissistic, self-absorbed, just because they have chosen to utilize the let them theory. And you know, the lady is very loud on how to become a well-guarded human being.
Did you say the lady is or the ladies?
The lady is the owner of the let them theory, which is a very modern thing we need to familiarize ourselves with. But I'm trying to lay emphasis on now the relations, because we do not exist in a vacuum. We do not exist as an island. We have to relate with other people who are not as woke, as healthy. And sometimes these people are our spouses, they are our sisters, they are even our parents. How do we then try to create this environment for everyone to thrive?
I'm going to say something that is not necessarily groundbreaking, but may jar a few people's sensibilities.
Right.
Everything is your fault. Umrambo anakupigia kelele, whose fault is it? Wewe. It is your fault. And what I mean by that is that it goes back to that story that you tell yourself. An event can happen. God forbid a snake drops from the roof over here. I can choose to react and run away, or I can choose to not bat an eyelid. It is not the event itself. It's not somebody being mean to you. It's not somebody who takes you for granted. It is not somebody, you name the whole malady of things that men say, and these ladies, this is how they're treating us. But it is your interpretation of that event. And once you can get your head around that sort of thinking, a lot of these quote-unquote relationship problems can be easily can be managed or handled. So I'll say start there.
Right.
Start by looking at things and saying, what part am I playing in this? Instead of laying the blame at the foot of the other person, which is typically maybe what a certain subsect of men tend to do. It's your fault. Take responsibility. And by the way, even if this person is, remember I talked about that, choose not to be implicated in that sort of behavior. Somebody might be treating you unfairly. I hear this. Your boss is treating you unfairly. Your partner is treating you unfairly. It is about being able to manage that feeling that it causes.
Maybe for perhaps a build up on that. Some of the emotional conditions people struggle with may have a genetic predisposition. Sometimes when it is a clinical condition, and you realize rarely will you experience full disclosure when people are beginning to form intimate relations. Only that it plays out later, a baby or two or years into it. And you realize it deeply interferes with how the capability of you sustaining this relationship. What do you say to the couples or people seeking? You know, they say we're in the talking phase. They're getting to know one another. How important is it for full disclosure, not just of the health conditions, but also of any other personal struggle or challenge one might be facing? How important is it for people to come clean.
There's research and studies out there that show that this type of trauma can be and is passed down. How pervasive it is, I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Right.
But there is something about said, and by the way, it's almost like cutting off that generational curse. The way your father handled difficult situations should not be the same way that you handle difficult situations, if he didn't handle it in a way that was effective, is what I'm saying. So there's something to be said, certainly, about that trauma or that sort of handling that type of situation. Now, I think what you're alluding to is if I'm going to marry into a particular family, I need full disclosure on the mental health of this family, going back maybe a couple of generations. I don't know. I was once, when I was living in one of these cities outside of the country, the interview that I was given when I wanted to move in as a roommate of this person, she took me through a 100-point questionnaire on my mental health. My mental health. Wow. Not my finances, my mental health. I had never experienced anything like that. But I look back at that and I say, this was actually eye-opening. She didn't want to live with a, I don't know, psychopath or sociopath, whatever the case might be. Yeah, I think there is something to be said about perhaps using that as one of the metrics in deciding whether this is going to be a partner that you want in terms of, for life.
I mean, he's just raised something that I think is critical, and that would be then the family level setup, right? In terms of how you raise a child, perhaps the things they pick up, because that most become how they were raised. I'm going to give you an example. Very young boy. I remember the first time I gave my dad a hug. He was like, "What you doing, man?" But consistency with that, he loosened up. Because
how old were you, Brian?
Back then, I was in primary school, I think, class 8 or something like that. And he didn't know how to process that emotion because it is something he never practiced from his dad. But over time, now with my siblings, it became a normal thing. You tell old man, "I love you, Dad." A few times he would not respond. But nowadays, it's a common thing. He's the one to actually even tell you, "I love you, son." So is the family level setup then, how critical is that in terms of raising men who are able to communicate their feelings and also just to be able to open up and share? Because anything happens to me, it's my dad.
Yeah. It certainly plays an important part. That's a component. If you look at it as a stool with 3 or 4 different legs, the family plays an important part. In a family where you're allowed to express those feelings, or in a family where you're told no, just like you are. But you talked about this. It could also be our teachers, the peers that you hang out with, certainly even as you get older. All of these come into creating this thing called your values. I'm pointing at an imaginary triangle over here. You have your values over here, your value system, your moral compass, okay? You have your reaction to events on this side, and then you have over here living to the best or your highest value or excellence and expressing that. And those 3 form a hopefully harmonious triangle in terms of dealing with some of these difficult emotions.
So, I mean, one of the things that you talked about is that normalization of things that had been previously constructed. Essentially, that it's a thought about something, and that seems to be a modus operandi, but it shouldn't be. And that we can normalize some of these conversations. Do we see this as a way to then make sure that some of the ills that we are fighting with today are because we have not normalized the conversation? We can apply this across board. Because I saw an article today about HIV infections, 14,000 last year. And a lot of those were the studies because people still didn't, and in younger people, because people still didn't know what they're doing about sex. We don't normalize those conversations, so we get into trouble. We don't normalize saying that, you know what, men's mental health is not something that only happens to be a conversation in June. It's an everyday theme. So if we don't talk about it, we should not be surprised that we then have to deal with the dangers of it.
It's everybody's responsibility to make sure that we're creating those environments at work, at home, wherever we enjoy our social life, to have those sorts of conversations, to be able to allow ourselves to go through that process of feeling that particular emotion, and then what happens next. And I think part of that is the follow-through. As I said, it's one thing to cry, it's one thing to feel anger, but then what is the follow-through after that? What happens? Or are you dealing with maybe more internal issues? Fantastic that we have a mental day, a men's mental health awareness month. That's the opening of that door. But like you rightly said, this should be something that is not even necessarily talked about in 1 month. It is an ongoing thing. Creating this psychological safety in all of these environments and being able to use that type of language where it is okay to talk about these things that we're going through.
And we hope that women do not feel exempted from the conversation, because a healthy man, I would imagine, is a happier someone to be with. So there has to be a role, there has to be a place for our significant others, be it they are our sisters, our spouses as well. Because remember, I think in the onset of the millennium, the girl child campaign started off, and there are allegations that the boy child was neglected then, and now we are having to play catch up on the boy child. So even as we advance the mental health for men, I think it just needs to be a norm, a way of life for all of us, both men and women, so that we can have a healthier society, a healthier family unit, a healthier community, and hopefully now this pandemic we can start focusing on other issues.
Yeah, and it starts with even beyond just looking at mental health exclusively. Things like taking care of your physical health will have an ROI that is so huge in terms of your mental health, right? The Stoics said we treat the body rigorously so it is not disobedient to the mind. It starts with that. It starts with how we handle social media and curbing sort of those things. It starts with morning routines. So a lot of these things that we're doing in our daily lives add up to this mental health or mental wealth. And it should be a priority, if that goes without saying. It should be a priority. Just as people concentrate on financial literacy, there needs to be this emotional literacy as well.
Indeed.
Both of those are on the same scale.
Well put.
Well put, and a great way to end it. Derek Banga, emotional intelligence coach, has been here with us this morning, and we will not talk about this again in June 2027, hopefully. We'll be talking about it every day. Thank you very much for joining us in that conversation this morning. And for everybody who tuned in and clicked into the Situation Room this week, thank you for doing that. Have a great weekend. We'll talk again Monday, God willing. It's 10 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the news. I'm Sheila Tembor. President William Ruto is attending the third Africa Chief Justices Summit on Alternative Dispute Resolution in Nairobi. The annual summit brings together judges from across the continent to explore ways of improving court efficiency through alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. Judges from Somalia, Nigeria, Tanzania, Uganda, Zanzibar, Senegal, Rwanda, and Ghana are among the participants. Here is Chief Justice Martha Koome.
Your Excellency, before you this morning, we have the Honorable Chief Justice of Zambia, Dr. Mumba Marira, who has delivered the opening speech.